Good afternoon, everyone. So, my name is Rajesh Govindraj. I'm a faculty of Geography and Environment here. So, I'm associated with Vision since last 8 years. And, so, my native is down south, Karnataka, but I'm more in Delhi in the last 15 years. Since 15 years I'm here. ठीक है. So, और बाकी चीज़ें तो क्लास के साथ में आपको पता चलेगा. So you'll understand more. So coming over to you, कब से शुरू हुआ आपका बैच? August 19th. ठीक है. So कोई सब्जेक्ट कवर हुआ है? कंप्लीट हो गया? मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री से ठीक है. So anything else? और कौन सा चल रहा है? चल रहा है साइंस एंड टेक ऑल्सो. ठीक है. So I'll be taking your geography part. So how many of you have geography optional? कोई बात नहीं है. Can raise your hand? Hesitate मत करो. ठीक है. 1, 2, 3. ठीक है. How many of you are appearing for 2023? ठीक है. ठीक है. So when was the last time you studied geography? 10th standard. ठीक है. So anyone who studied from degree, graduation में कोई पढ़ा नहीं? ठीक है. BA? ठीक है. Anyone from? बस एक ही है. Okay. ठीक है. Good. So in a way it's good also. मेरा काम थोड़ा सा easy रहेगा. You know, it's easier to teach from the basics than if you already have some idea. बहुत बार ऐसे होता है कि जो आप लोगों ने पढ़ के आए हैं तो उसके हिसाब से पढ़ाना तो बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. फिर आप स्टार्टिंग से कंपेयर करते रहोगे है ना. तो वहां पर ये पढ़ाता है, यहाँ पर ये पढ़ाता है, यहाँ पर ऐसे है. तो क्लीन स्लेट इज ऑलवेज गुड. ठीक है. So let me give you a brief introduction about geography in UPSC. ठीक है. पहले geography in general बात करते हैं. So then we'll come to geography in UPSC. Geography UPSC में कितना चाहिए. So and what we are going to cover in the class. ठीक है. 3 things. First, geography. So what is geography? Geography क्या है बताइए. Study of Earth. Then why it is not called as geology? Logy means study. So it should have been called as geology then. And what is geology? Study of Earth's structure. Okay. Anything else? What do you mean by graphy? Graphy का मतलब क्या है? Geography is made up of 2 terms, right? One is geo, another one is graphy. What do you mean by graphy? Okay. Measurement. Description. Okay. So which includes the measurement also. So geography is basically description of Earth. which also includes the study of Earth. Okay? It includes the study of Earth, which includes everything related to Earth, all the phenomena related to Earth. Okay, how Earth was created, what are the different layers, different zones, and the characteristics, right? And how it supports life. All of these overall situation को जो हम describe करते हैं, that is what is geography. To understand the overall idea, so we need to go deeper. We need to study the rocks. That is what is geology. Geology basically studies the rocks and the Earth's interior layer. So earlier there was no separate subject called as geology. So everything was part of geography. Gradually it became separate. Okay. So overall it is the description of Earth and the features related to the Earth. That is what is geography. तो स्कूल में तो पढ़ा होगा, तो हिंदी में भूगोल बोलता है, भूगोल शास्त्र, है ना? ठीक है. So what all the things which we study under geography? Geography के अंदर क्या क्या हम पढ़ते हैं? What are the things which we study? So you don't have to write this part. It's just a general introduction. So जब लिखना है मैं बता दूँगा. The first thing which you know about the Earth is the place where we live. Is that right? जहाँ पर हम रहते हैं. So where do we live? On the surface. We don't live inside the Earth. So we live on the surface of Earth. The layer which is there on the surface, which is made up of totally rocks and the different physical features. Study of all these physical features, the rocks and the surface. What do you see? We see mountains, plateaus, plains, rivers, right? That is what we see. So all these physical features, we call them as physical features. The study of physical features on the surface of Earth is called as geomorphology. The study of physical features on the surface of Earth. So how they are formed, how mountains are formed, how plains are formed, all of these. And the rocks which are there, below that, above that, how they change over a period of time. Even though we live on the surface of Earth, there is a layer of Earth above us. It is the gaseous layer, which is atmosphere. We call it as atmosphere. The study of atmosphere and the phenomena associated with that is called as climatology. The study of atmosphere. There's one more layer around us, the layer of water. So what do we call this layer as? Hydrosphere. The rock layer is lithosphere. The gaseous layer is atmosphere. So जो हमारे ऊपर है, so we live in that. And the third one is the water, the hydrosphere. The study of water is commonly called as oceanography. If you mix all these three together, land, atmosphere and the water, the zone where there is a possibility of life is called as biosphere. Why there is a possibility of life? The conditions are favorable only over there. We need both the land as well as water as well as gas. तीनों होना चाहिए. Then only there is a possibility of life. And that is associated with soil. The study of soil along with the life associated with is called as biogeography. So what exactly are we studying here? This is the physical geography of Earth. Study of land, study of gases, study of water and the life associated with that. So these part we call it as the physical geography. This is the first thing. So most clearly दिखता है. So is there anything else related to the Earth? What else we can study? Interior comes under geomorphology. There is also another aspect of Earth which is related to the economic activity. This is called as economic geography. इसको बोलते हैं economic geography. So how economics are dependent upon geography? Resources. Even if we are not dependent upon the resources for some kind of economic activity, but we need geography for that. For example, trade or transportation. We need geography. Without that, we cannot do this. So geography influences a large different types of economic activities. So all this part of geography is called as economic geography. How geography influences the economic activities. So that includes the resource extraction, agriculture activities. Resource extraction includes all the mining activities. तो mining वगैरह चलता है ना. Then agriculture activities, activities related to the natural vegetation, okay, lumbering, cutting of trees, all of this. Then industries, right? Industries are also depend upon geography only, the raw materials, the transportation. Then the transportation sector itself and the services. All of this overall we can say economic geography. There is also a part of geography which we call it as the social geography. So right, social geography, the society, how geography influences the society. So which includes the aspects like the population, how many people live in a particular region is depend upon geography over there. More people live in plain area than mountainous area, right? The population aspect, we can study that here. Then the culture is always influenced by geography. The culture of north and south, the culture of east and west, it's always divided by geography, right? Then the different tribes and the different types of settlements. The different types of settlements. What is a settlement? The place where people live or the place where they work. The buildings, houses, offices, all of these we call as settlements. That is also influenced by geography, is that right? There is also another part of geography which we call it as environmental geography. Environmental geography. So because geography again influences the entire environment around us. So what is environment? Our surrounding. Our surrounding is called as the environment, right? So the place where we live, the habitat, and the conditions which enables our living is environment. So that is also influenced by geography. It varies from one place to another. We have aquatic environment, desert type of environment, mountainous type of environment. All of them divided by geography only. So there is a huge influence of geography in this part also. So we can study this also, where we can study about the ecosystem around us, the biodiversity around us. This is also influenced by geography. And the degradation which we are causing on the nature, that is also influenced by geography, of course. And the various conservation efforts, right? This should also be part of geography only. बहुत कुछ आता है. And particularly in order to understand all of these in a better manner, we should go back to the origin. कहाँ से शुरू हुआ था? How did the earth originated? कहाँ से आया था? कहाँ से शुरू हुआ था सब कुछ? Big Bang. That is what is cosmology. The things related to the space, starting from stars, galaxies, and the universe, how exactly they originated, where are they, what are they, and how Earth is a part of all of this, how big our universe, right? Their source, their origin, the types, and also our solar system. If we understand all of this, we'll get to know more about the Earth, how exactly we originated, how exactly the Earth originated, and how exactly it evolved. All of this we'll get to know, right? So if we understand this, we'll understand the other things better. और कुछ बचा है geography में? So more or less, this is what is geography. If you talk about the subject of geography, it should include all of this. सब कुछ होना चाहिए. Because everything is directly or indirectly related to geography only. If you want to describe Earth, if you want to study the things related to the Earth, you have to study all of this. So this is traditional geography. So UPSC के लिए कितना चाहिए? So how do we get to know? Syllabus. Syllabus? Syllabus कहाँ पर है? Market में? UPSC के notification में. It is there in UPSC's notification. So every year before the examination process begins, UPSC releases notification. कब आएगा? February, usually February. ठीक है, but कभी-कभी जल्दी भी आ सकते हैं, कभी-कभी लेट भी हो सकता है. You have to keep a track of it. So usually there will be a time limit of 30 days. So कभी-कभी और short भी हो सकते हैं, long भी हो सकते हैं. So जितना जल्दी मतलब आप फॉर्म भरोगे उतना अच्छा है, safe रहेंगे. ठीक है? So whenever UPSC releases notification, please go through this entire notification. ऐसा नहीं सोचना है कि ठीक है ये तो सबको पता ही है, तो विजन में बोल दिया है, रूममेट ने बोल दिया है, टॉपर्स ने बोल दिया है, यही तो होना चाहिए? बिल्कुल नहीं. So notification is a direct channel of communication between you and UPSC. वो किसके लिए लेके आए नोटिफिकेशन? आपके लिए है, for the people who are preparing for this exam, है ना? तो बाकी लोग जो बोल रहे हैं उसको भी सुनना है, of course, right? At the same time एक बार आपके खुद की आंखों से भी देखना है. You have to see it by yourself whether they are right or wrong. So कैसे पता चलेगा, right? So please go through the notification from end to end. पूरा बैठ के अच्छे से देखना है. उनमें से बहुत सारी चीजें तो आप स्किप कर सकते हैं. जो दूसरा ऑप्शनल का सिलेबस है सब तो बहुत ज्यादा वही हो जाएगा. The clauses and the instruction which are not related to you. Okay, there are few clauses and instructions which are not related to you. ये सब skip करो. But जो आपके लिए लागू है, तो please read it carefully.
Connected.
It gives you the entire idea about the examination. एक clarity मिलेगा आपको. दूसरा जो syllabus दिया है उसके ऊपर भी थोड़ा बहुत clarity आएगा. ठीक है? So you will get a good clarity about what is there in the syllabus. Syllabus is given in UPSC's notification. That is the first channel of communication between you and UPSC. Always see that. Always see that. Don't skip that. So in that syllabus we have two parts where geography is given. One is prelims, another one is mains. Interview में क्या होगा exactly तो कोई भी mention नहीं है. So इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि वहाँ पर geography नहीं चाहिए. So there may be questions related to geography of your native place or in general the things which are currently in news. Question तो आ सकते हैं, interview में भी आ सकते हैं. The personality test. But prelims and mains दो area जो दो stage में clearly mentioned है. So prelims in paper one there are two papers, right? Prelims. So paper one that is general studies. इसमें mentioned है geography के बारे में. In mains there are 4 general studies paper. In that general studies 1 और कोई पेपर है जिसमें geography mentioned है? Optional छोड़ो. GS3. It is not directly mentioned as geography, but there are many topics related to geography. We'll see that. Okay, so let's see this. This is what is the actual screenshot. So ये मैंने नहीं लिखा है, UPSC का ही है. So as it is मैंने screenshot लेके आया हूँ आपके लिए. So this is part A, preliminary examination. In that paper 1, okay, paper 1, 200 marks. Duration is 2 hours. ठीक है? ये कहाँ पर दिया है कि 100 क्वेश्चन ही होगा? दिया है यहाँ पर नहीं, दूसरी जगह में दिया है. ओके, इंस्ट्रक्शन टू एग्जामिनेशन वहां पर दिया है. ठीक है? सो डोंट वरी, इसलिए केयरफुली पढ़ना पड़ेगा. यू हैव टू रीड दिस केयरफुली. ठीक है? पेपर 1 200 मार्क्स. सो द टॉपिक्स गिवन इन पेपर 1 इंक्लूड्स फर्स्ट करंट इवेंट्स, बोथ नेशनल एंड इंटरनेशनल. करंट इवेंट्स जो हम करंट अफेयर्स बोलते हैं, दैट इज करंट इवेंट्स. सेकंड हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडिया and Indian national movement. History of India includes all of his ancient, medieval, modern, post-independence. सब आ जाएगा. History of India basically. There is no time limit for this. Then comes geography. ठीक है? So we'll come to that. Polity and governance. इसका सारा topics दिया है. And environment and general science. ठीक है? Economics भी है. Right? These are the topics for prelims. In that, if you see geography, the subject's name is Indian and World Geography. Indian and World Geography, this is the name of subject. So in that, what all we have to study? The physical geography, social geography and economic geography of India and world. Okay, तो पिछले स्लाइड में मैंने लिखा था फिजिकल, सोशल, इकोनॉमिक. कॉस्मोलॉजी के बारे में कोई भी मेंशन नहीं है. एनवायरनमेंट के बारे में भी डायरेक्टली मेंशन नहीं है, बट एनवायरनमेंट को अलग सब्जेक्ट बना दिया. राइट? सो एनवायरनमेंट को अलग सब्जेक्ट बना दिया. सो दैट मीन्स वी डोंट हैव टू स्टडी एनवायरनमेंट. इज इट सो? We will study about environment. Few of the things related to environment we'll also study in geography. We cannot separate completely environment and geography. This was changed in 2011. ये जो सिलेबस है 2011 का सिलेबस है. 2011 के पहले जो सिलेबस था वहां पर एनवायरनमेंट का अलग सा मेंशन नहीं था. It was not mentioned separately. It was inclusive of geography. Geography का ही पार्ट था, क्योंकि environmental geography is traditional part of geography itself. 2011 में इसको अलग सा बनाया, तब से इसको अलग सा सब्जेक्ट जैसे पढ़ाते. So but without geography you cannot understand this. You need the help of geography for understanding environment. यही तो है, ecology, biodiversity, climate change, etc. So from prelims point of view, we have to study about physical geography, social geography and economic geography of both India as well as world. Indian perspective and world perspective दोनों अलग-अलग से पढ़ना है, ठीक है? What about mains? So in general studies paper 1, I have just taken the part of geography only. Geography का ही part लिया है मैंने, screenshot. So there, along with this, there is also history. History का part है. Okay, art and culture history, modern Indian national movement, ये सब आ जाएगा. Post independence, world history, and then society, and then finally geography. Okay, these are the subjects in paper 1. In that geography, there are 3 parts, 3 major topics in mains. The first topic is salient features of world's physical geography. The salient features of world's physical geography. This is your first topic. Okay, जो मैंने बताया था, geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography, all of this is included under this. Second topic, if you see, distribution of key natural resources. Okay, तो इसको heading बना देते हैं. Distribution of key natural resources across India, including South Asia and the Indian subcontinent. Okay, the overall natural resources include the water resources, vegetation resources, mineral resources, energy resources, ऐसे बहुत सारे resources आते हैं. So all of these, their distribution, the problems coming out of this, and the methods of extraction, how we are managing, all of this should be included under this natural resources. इसी का second part देखो, factors responsible for the location of primary, secondary, and tertiary sector industries in various parts of the world. So basically, they are talking about different types of economic activities. Primary economic activity is agriculture and mining. Secondary economic activity is manufacturing. Tertiary economic activities, services, trade, transportation. ठीक है? Different types. All of these which we can say economic activities. इसको एक heading दे देते हैं. Economic activities. Okay, we have divided this second into 2 parts. So if you see the third part, important geophysical phenomena. Okay, तो इसको heading बना देते हैं. Important geophysical phenomena such as earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclone, etc. Geographical features and their locational changes in critical geographical features and in flora and fauna and effects of such changes. So जो मैंने initially बताया था different parts of geography, वहां पर कौन सी part है ये? Geomorphology. What about climatology? Oceanography है. So this is physical geography. But physical geography तो दिया है. इंडिया तो मेंशन नहीं है. देखो, all these things, earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity will study in geomorphology. Cyclone will study in climatology. Changes in water bodies will study in oceanography. It is part of world's physical geography only. तो अलग सा क्यों दिया है? This is part of world's physical geography only. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि यहाँ पर कुछ जगह खाली था तो थोड़ा और डाल दो. So is it so? Related to environment, ठीक है. Anything else? What is the reason behind this? Why it is separately mentioned here? Because these are the topics of geography which are currently relevant and are in change continuously. Okay, they are changing continuously, they are currently relevant and they are important for all of us. Okay, for particularly all of you, the civil servants, future civil servants. So जो जिस area में काम करोगे, majorly disaster management, all of these are related to disaster management. ठीक है? So because of that, currently news में है, continuously change में है, they are the most important part of geography. If you analyze the previous papers, you will understand in mains paper 1 में इस topic से सबसे ज़्यादा weightage है. You will not study this separately. Okay, will not be able to study this separately. This is part of physical geography only, world physical geography only. So, but since this is mentioned separately, we will give more emphasis while studying these topics. Because if you see the previous papers, you will understand that more questions have come in this area only. If there are 8 questions, okay, usually 8 to 10 होता है geography में. If there are 8 questions, okay, 2-3 इसी area से आता है. At least 2 to 3 questions are from this area only. So इसीलिए UPSC इसको अलग करके दिया है in the syllabus that this has to be given more emphasis. And most importantly, यहाँ पर NCERT काफी नहीं है. Okay, NCERT is not sufficient. We need to go in further detail. Okay, और detail में जाना है. So because NCERT covers only to a certain extent, यहाँ पर ठीक है, यहाँ पर काफी है. So बाकी और थोड़ा सा detail में जाना है. So usually there will be one question in geography which is very technical. बहुत टेक्निकल टाइप आता है. So last year क्वेश्चन आया था, if you have seen the paper, the color coded warning for cyclone. सुना है? तो IMD issues color coded warning for cyclone. तो वो क्यों है, कैसे है, उसको कैसे करते हैं. So this is, you will not read all of this in NCERT. वो तो मिलेगा ही नहीं आपको. देखो साइक्लोन दिया है, right? So 2-3 years before there was another question. What are mantle plumes? The role of mantle plumes in plate tectonics, ऐसा एक क्वेश्चन आया था. You will not find mantle plumes in NCERT. ये सारा इसी का ही पार्ट है. वोल्केनिक एक्टिविटी, अर्थक्वेक, सुनामी इसमें आएगा. ठीक है. So basically these are the topics which you have to study in much more detailed manner. थोड़ा सा डिटेल में जाके पढ़ना है. And second, थोड़ा सा currently update करना है. Like you should connect with the current affairs. Right? Cyclone का जो क्वेश्चन था that was related to current affairs. Right? So that is what is geophysical phenomena. So overall main topic we can categorize into world's physical geography, which includes geophysical phenomena and then natural resources and economic activities. ठीक है. So this is जो directly geography का mentioned है. Otherwise, in syllabus, there are many parts where geography is required. Geography's help is required, without which you cannot understand this. In prelims part, the part on environment ecology, this is must that you understand geography first before you proceed with environment. Without understanding geography, environment करना मुश्किल है. So you need the help of geography. ठीक है? So that's why any of the topics related to ecology, biodiversity, climate change, it is related to geography. ठीक है? ये करना है. And in paper 3, the topics in economics, which is related to agriculture. Major crops, cropping pattern in various parts of the country, different types of irrigation, irrigation system, transport, marketing of agriculture produce, and issues related to constraints and e-technology to the aid of farmers. This is the topic. In that, I will not be covering everything, but I will be covering cropping and cropping pattern. Okay, ये जो part है, इसको हम cover करते हैं. Will be covering in geography. It will not be covered in your economics. ठीक है? In addition to this, there are topics related to infrastructure, energy, ports, roads, airports and railways. Again, we'll discuss about this from geography's point of view. Geography point of view से हम बात करेंगे. Economics point of view से भी बात हो जाएगा economics के topics में. Other than that, we have environment related topics here also. यहाँ पर भी geography का help चाहिए, without which is difficult. And disaster management is also one topic which you cannot do and understand without the knowledge of geography. Okay, geography के वजह से ही हुआ है. Without the knowledge of geography, you cannot go through this. So these are the overall टॉपिक्स रिलेटेड टू ज्योग्राफी इन यूपीएससी सिलेबस. तो इसको हम ऐसे 3 एरियाज में बांट दिया है. दिस इज हाउ आई विल बी कवरिंग ज्योग्राफी. ओके, टोटल देयर आर 3 मेजर पार्ट्स. द फर्स्ट वन इज द फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी ऑफ द वर्ल्ड विल स्टार्ट विद द बेसिक्स. जो कॉस्मोलॉजी मैंने बताया था ना, तो वो सिलेबस में मेंशन नहीं है, बट इट इज रिक्वायर्ड टू अंडरस्टैंड ज्योग्राफी इन इजियर मैनर. वो तो चाहिए, क्वेश्चंस भी आते हैं उसमें प्रीलिम्स में. Okay, you will also have questions in geography from that area, so we need to cover that, even though it is not mentioned, because ये तो basics है, ये तो cover करना ही है. Then we'll start with geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography. This is our physical geography of world, and we will do parallelly both from prelims and mains point of view. Okay, parallelly चलेगा, ठीक है? So once we complete this, we'll come to physical geography of India. So whatever we have studied, we will apply to India. ठीक है? Physiography of India, the drainage pattern of India, that is the river system of India. And then climate of India and soils of India. This is physical geography of India. And the third part is economic and human geography of world and India. So here we can study it together. India and world का साथ में पढ़ सकते हैं. No need to study separately. यहाँ पर तो चाहिए. It is required here. First we'll study from the general point of view. Then we'll apply to India. Here we can study it together, which includes the oceanic and water resources, natural vegetation, agriculture, mineral and energy resources, industries, transportation infrastructure, and then population and settlement. These are topics which I'll be covering in the same order. Okay, I'll be covering in the same order. And common to all of this is map location. Map locations are something which you cannot separate from your geography. वो तो parallelly चलेगा. थोड़ा बहुत क्लास में करेंगे. Basic mapping हम क्लास में करेंगे. Once we complete geography and both environment, okay, दोनों जब cover हो जाएगा, then we'll have separate mapping session. Separate mapping session होगा, तो फिर दोबारा वहाँ पर भी cover हो जाएगा. But along with the class, I'll also tell you how to do mapping location. It goes along with all the subjects. Okay, this one you can write down. This is your entire geography portion. Environmental geography, I'm not going to put it here because that will be taken as a separate subject itself. हो गया? So that was what is geography and how much of it is required in UPSC. ठीक है, तो इतना चाहिए. जो भी geography related topics है, that will be covered in these 3 parts, and I'll be taking around 40 classes to complete this. Okay, 40 is the number of assigned classes. So ये तो पता चल गया क्या पढ़ना है, but it is very important कैसे पढ़ना है. ये बड़ा important है. So ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए कि like ठीक है चलो पढ़ते पढ़ते पता चल जाएगा. So आधा टाइम तो उसी में वेस्ट हो जाएगा. So it will be good if you know how to prepare for this. So ऐसे जरूरी नहीं कि you should have the subject knowledge. You should have some idea in which direction you have to prepare. So that we will understand by another official communication of channel, another communication channel between you and UPSC. एक तो notification है. There is also another communication channel. कौन सा? PYQ, previous year question papers. ठीक है? So उससे तो clearly दिया है. क्योंकि if you see the syllabus, वो वहां पर exactly नहीं दिया है कि कौन कौन सा पढ़ना है. So ऐसे तो नहीं दिया है ना, जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी, क्लाइमेटोलॉजी, ओशनोग्राफी, ये सब तो नहीं दिया है वहां पर. It's just given physical, social, economic, and few of the topics are just mentioned over there. So for detailed understanding of the topics, what are the topics to be prepared and what are the topics not to be prepared, and how much weightage we should give to a particular topic. क्योंकि यहाँ पर if you see, I've given more weightage to the physical part and then economic part and very less weightage for social geography. जो मैंने बताया था population and settlements and tribes है, उसको बस एक ही single topic में दे दिया. Prelims में तो 3 part दिया है, physical, social, economic. So should we give equal weightage? No. We will understand if you go through the previous papers. Social geography has no weightage at all. UPSC में अभी तक कोई भी क्वेश्चन नहीं आया based on the 15-20 years of pattern. So you may say syllabus में दिया है तो आ सकता है ठीक है, but उस डायरेक्शन में हमें भागना नहीं है. Probabilities are like infinite, है ना, होना तो कुछ भी हो सकता है. We cannot be prepared for everything with the limited time and limited resources. In fact, resources भी बहुत unlimited हो गया अभी. With the limited time is the limitation factor here. The limited time, we have to decide in which direction we have to prepare. ठीक है, तो ये जो कोर एरिया है, जो जिसके ऊपर फोकस है इन द लास्ट फ्यू इयर्स, उसको हम टारगेट करेंगे. बाकी सब वो अपने हिसाब से आप कर सकते हो बेस्ड ऑन योर इंटरेस्ट. So to understand what is the core area, how much of time should be given to a particular topic, and to what depth we have to prepare. Certain topics require in-depth analysis, certain topics require just the overview, है ना? So the previous question papers are going to be very, very helpful. I would suggest not only for geography, any subject for that matter, go through the previous question paper. You'll get a fair idea how to prepare and how not to prepare. दोनों आपको पता चल जाएगा. ठीक है? So let me take you through few just the basic things based on the previous paper analysis, but detail में आपको ये देखना पड़ेगा. So we have covered in detail analysis sessions of previous question papers. I'll show you the links also. तो वहाँ पर आप detail में देख लेना. I'll just take you through briefly. So based on the previous papers analysis, this is the weightage of geography in prelims. Okay, I'll show about the mains also. First prelims. So I told you 2011 में syllabus change हुआ था. Okay, 2011 में syllabus change हुआ था. Since then, the number of questions in general studies paper 1 is 100 questions होगा. ठीक है, and each question carries 2 marks, तो 200 marks हो गया with negative 1/3 negative है. So in 100 questions, how many questions are geography? This is the weightage. Like, so if you see the first 5 years, geography carried a high amount of weightage. मतलब इस geography का weightage बहुत ज्यादा था. Out of 100, okay, you can see 19, 13, 22. एक बार 22 भी गया है, 18, 16. First 5 years there was high weightage. After that, consecutively for 6 years, low weightage, 8 to 9 questions. Last year, again, it became 14. Okay? So if you take average, we can say around 12. Okay? Average of last all the years जब से syllabus change हुआ है. Syllabus change होने के पहले कैसे था? So any idea how was the earlier syllabus before 2011? So first paper was optional in prelims. प्रीलिम्स में 2 पेपर था, एक ऑप्शनल था, दूसरा जनरल स्टडीज था. ठीक है, सो 2011 के पहले आपका जो ऑप्शनल है, तो वो ऑप्शनल पेपर प्रीलिम्स में ही था. मेंस में 2 ऑप्शनल था, एंड ऑप्शनल हैज द हाईएस्ट वेटेज इन प्रीलिम्स. उसका टोटल मार्क्स अराउंड 300 का था. सो जीएस का जो मार्क्स था 150 का था. दोनों क्लब करके कट ऑफ क्लियर होगा. तो बहुत बार ऐसे होता है कि लोग ऑप्शनली पूरा थरोली प्रिपेयर कर देते हैं, तो उसी में कट ऑफ क्लियर हो जाता है कि 200 के आसपास आ गया तो आपको कट ऑफ क्लियर हो जाता था. सो पीपल यूज्ड टू स्कोर वेल. एंड जनरल स्टडीज 150 मार्क्स, 150 क्वेश्चंस, 150 क्वेश्चंस, 150 मार्क्स, सेम 2 आवर्स का ही ड्यूरेशन होगा. सो दैट इंक्लूडेड सीसैट ऑल्सो. उसमें सीसैट भी इंक्लूडेड था. फिर ऑप्शनल को हटाया, सीसैट को अलग कर दिया, 2 पेपर हो गया. That was 2011. उसके पहले भी geography had a good amount of weightage, अच्छा खासा weightage था. Out of 150, they used to ask 20 to 25 questions from geography itself. There was a good weightage. Historically, geography is considered to be one of the core area of general studies. वो तो चाहिए. So क्यों चाहिए? Because geography is where you are going to work, right? तो geography आपको पता होना चाहिए. Geography is very important in the day-to-day administration, decision making, right? ठीक है. So after that, after 5 years, you can see there is a decrease in the weightage. Any reason behind this? If you can correlate anything? The weightage of environment has increased. ठीक है? The weightage of environment has increased in this period. Last year geography भी ज़्यादा था, environment भी ज़्यादा था. Environment questions are nearly 20, and environment is part of geography only. Without geography you cannot understand environment. दोनों मिला दो तो आपको 35 questions इसी से आ गया. ठीक है? So in this time period again 15 to 20 questions were from environment. उसके पहले environment का weightage कम था. So there was also one reason which is correlated. Of course, UPSC has not said it specifically, but correlation ऐसे है कि like 2015 के बाद में forest service का जो examination pattern change कर दिया, उसका भी prelims compulsory कर दिया. पहले prelims ही नहीं था forest service में. So they combined the prelims of forest service and civil services. एक ही exam होगा. Forest service का भी prelims का जो post selection part इसी से होगा. तो जिसके वजह से environment related questions भी ज़्यादा हो गया है. ठीक है? So overall ऐसा भी नहीं है कि 8 to 9 क्वेश्चन आ गए तो ज्योग्राफी का वेटेज कम है, बट टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड सॉल्व मेनी ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस रिलेटेड टू एनवायरनमेंट यू नीड द नॉलेज ऑफ ज्योग्राफी. सो ओवरऑल वेटेज ऑफ ज्योग्राफी रिमेन्स हाई इन प्रीलिम्स. इट इज अ सब्जेक्ट व्हिच यू कैन नॉट स्किप. दिस इज द वेटेज इन मेंस. प्रीलिम्स में तो थोड़ा बहुत डाउट आएगा, ज्यादा है नहीं है. मेंस में तो इट इज वेरी क्लियर. इट हैज वन ऑफ द हाईएस्ट वेटेज इन एंटायर जनरल स्टडीज. पेपर 1, 2, 3 तीनों में सबसे हाईएस्ट वेटेज दो सब्जेक्ट का है. एक ज्योग्राफी है, दूसरा पॉलिटी है. ठीक है? सबसे हाईएस्ट वेटेज दीज टू सब्जेक्ट्स. पेपर 2 पॉलिटी, पेपर 1 ज्योग्राफी. सो यू कैन सी ओवरऑल द वेटेज द लोएस्ट आउट ऑफ 250 आई एम सेइंग. ओनली इन जनरल स्टडीज पेपर 1 में 250 में लोएस्ट इज 70, हाईएस्ट यू कैन सी इट हैज गॉन अप टू 115. हाउएवर सबसे ज्यादा जो एवरेज कंसिस्टेंट है 100. लास्ट ईयर भी 100 मार्क्स के लिए था. सो एक और क्वेश्चन हमने इंक्लूड नहीं किया बिकॉज दैट वाज स्लाइटली क्लोजली रिलेटेड विद सोसाइटी आल्सो. सोसाइटी एंड ज्योग्राफी रिलेटेड एक क्वेश्चन था बट इसमें इंक्लूड नहीं है. बट इफ यू एक्सक्लूड दैट स्टिल यू हैव 100 मार्क्स. 100 आउट ऑफ 250. एंड इन पेपर 3 यू विल हैव 2 to 3 क्वेश्चंस रिलेटेड टू एनवायरनमेंट एंड डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट. वो भी ज्योग्राफी रिलेटेड ही है. सो ओवरऑल दिस इज वन ऑफ द हाईएस्ट. ओके, सो यू विल स्टडी अबाउट द कल्चर, इंडियन नेशनल मूवमेंट, वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री, सोसाइटी, सारा मतलब सारा आएगा 150 मार्क्स के लिए. ज्योग्राफी खाली आएगा 100 मार्क्स के लिए. सो वन ऑफ द हाईएस्ट वेटेज. ठीक है? सो इट्स ए वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सब्जेक्ट इन योर जनरल स्टडीज. वेटेज से तो ये तो पता चल गया. सेकंड, ये भी पता करना है कि लाइक व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ क्वेश्चंस आस्क्ड. क्वेश्चंस कैसे आते हैं रफली यू शुड हैव दैट आइडिया. देन ओनली व्हिल प्रिपेयरिंग दिस सब्जेक्ट यू विल प्रिपेयर इन दैट डायरेक्शन. है ना? क्वेश्चंस कैसे आएंगे ये पता होना चाहिए. इफ यू गो बैक टू 2012-13 वाला पेपर निकाल के देखा तो द क्वेश्चंस वर वेरी कॉन्सेप्चुअल टाइप. द क्वेश्चंस रिलेटेड टू ज्योग्राफी वर वेरी वेरी कॉन्सेप्चुअल टाइप. वो पेपर अच्छा है एक्चुअली. अभी थोड़ा सा फैक्चुअल टाइप हो गया. तो उसमें क्या होता है, इफ यू देयर मोर क्वेश्चंस रिलेटेड टू कॉन्सेप्ट्स, यू हैव स्टडीड ज्योग्राफी थॉरोली, यू विल बी एबल टू आंसर इट. बट हियर अलोंग विद द कॉन्सेप्ट्स यू आल्सो हैव टू रिमेंबर सम ऑफ द इंफॉर्मेशन. वो थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी हो जाता है. आपने सोचा होगा ये थोड़ा सा नेग्लेक्टेड है, ठीक है यार इतना तो नहीं आएगा, बट वही आएगा फाइनली. ठीक है? सो बहुत बार ऐसे होता है. सो द ओवरऑल पैटर्न इज दैट प्रेजेंटली द टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस व्हिच कम इन प्रीलिम्स दे आर मिक्स ऑफ बोथ कॉन्सेप्ट्स एज वेल एज इंफॉर्मेशन टाइप. ठीक है? सो व्हाट आर द टाइप्स ऑफ क्वेश्चन? देयर आर 4 टाइप्स ऑफ क्वेश्चंस व्हिच वी सी इन प्रीलिम्स. The first type of question is static and conventional type. Static and conventional type. मतलब basically conceptual type है. You understand the concept, you will be able to answer this. ठीक है? For example, this question is एक क्वेश्चन पढ़ के बताइए, आंसर देखते हैं. So, any answers? D, C, A, B. How many of you think the answer is A? Raise your hands. A, B, C, डी, ठीक है. This is the topic of climatology concept which is based on the dew formation. Okay, dew formation, condensation, precipitation में आएगा. The answer is B for Bombay. Don't worry, we will discuss in detail. पूरा detail में बात करेंगे तो clear हो जाएगा. It's not a difficult thing. So again, you are getting the idea question कैसे आता है? Okay, the concept of dew formation is important here. You understand that you will be easily be able to eliminate the other ones and you will be able to clearly identify this is the right one. जब हम dew formation करेंगे वो करके मैं दोबारा क्वेश्चन दिखा दूंगा सब यही आंसर. ठीक है, it's not that difficult. So this is another question which was asked. This is a type of question which is asked because it's currently in news. It is not something related to the concept. थोड़ा सा concept यहाँ पर लेके आ सकते हैं, but more related to current news. क्या है current news? So year of question देखो, पुष्पा तो अभी आया है. So this was asked in 2016. ठीक है, उस तब 2016 में न्यूज में था, है ना. पुष्पा तो अभी आया, यूपीएससी में पहले से ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. ठीक है, ठीक है. आंसर बताइए इसका. How many of you think it is C? B? A? D? ठीक है, आंसर इज ये. ठीक है, ये कवर हो जाएगा आपका इकोनॉमिक ज्योग्राफी में. Okay, where we discuss about vegetation types. Vegetation type is depend upon the climatic conditions. ऐसा लगता है कि tropical rain forest, मूवी में ऐसे दिखाया है. So it's not a rain forest actually, it's a dry deciduous forest. It's a dry deciduous forest. ठीक है, ठीक है. So the idea is that questions will be inspired from current affairs. Okay, it's a current affairs based question. Something related to geography which is in news, इसके ऊपर क्वेश्चन आएगा. ठीक है. So first question और second question में क्या डिफरेंस है? For this you don't have to read any current affairs. Directly textbook से क्लास में जो भी डिस्कस किया उससे सॉल्व हो जाएगा. So here you need the support of current affairs. जो current news में है, that news will be helpful in shortlisting these topics and you can study that in detail. That is what is current affairs based questions. So this is third and fourth type of question. Both are related to locations. ठीक है, इसका आंसर बताइए देखते हैं. So what is the answer? ठीक है, बताइए. How many of you think answer is ये कोई नहीं है. B, C, D. ठीक है, बाकी लोग E ऑप्शन होता है. None of the above. Do not attempt. ठीक है, आंसर इज B. So this is a location based question. Okay, so geography में location based questions are very very important and prelims में particularly half the questions are location based ही होगा. तो location based में दो तरीके हैं, एक है static, दूसरा है current affairs based. What is a static location? Location which is not in news. फिर भी इसके ऊपर क्वेश्चन आता है. ऐसे तो बहुत सारा लोकेशंस है, तो how are we able to shortlist them? Even though there are many locations, but few of these locations are very very important from geography's perspective. अगर थोड़ा बहुत बेसिक ज्योग्राफी पता है तो ये आपको पता होना चाहिए. ऐसे वाला लोकेशंस है. फॉर एग्जांपल टॉकिंग अबाउट हिमालयास. ग्रेट हिमालयास इज द मेन रेंज ऑफ हिमालयास. हिमालयास आर मेड अप ऑफ 3 रेंज: ग्रेट हिमालय, मिडिल हिमालय, शिवालिक्स. ग्रेट हिमालय इज द मेन रेंज एंड ग्रेट हिमालय एक्सटेंड फ्रॉम नामचा बर्मा टू नंगा पर्वत. मोस्ट एंड वेस्टर्न मोस्ट लिमिट ऑफ द ग्रेट हिमालय. ये पता होना ही चाहिए आपको. यू हैव स्टडीड अबाउट हिमालय, यू शुड नो अबाउट दिस. अगर ये पता है तो ये आंसर हो जाएगा. दिस इज नॉट गढ़वाल हिमालय. ओके, नामचा बर्वा इज इन अरुणाचल. अरुणाचल से ऊपर है, तिब्बत में है. ठीक है, सो ये बेसिक आइडिया है. नंदा देवी हिमालयास भी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है. सो दैट कम्स अंडर कुमाऊन. नोक्रेक इज इंपॉर्टेंट हिल. ओके, सो दैट कम्स अंडर मेघालय. सिक्किम में नहीं है, मेघालय में. ठीक है? So that's why जो basic चीजें जो if at all you are studying geography, there are some basic things which you have to know. So that is what is we call as the location which are static based. Otherwise there are many locations which are current based. In the last 1 or 2 years they are currently in news for some or the other reason. इसका आंसर पता है? Yes. जब न्यूज में आया था इसलिए क्वेश्चन आया था, बट क्वेश्चन जब आया था तब तो ज्यादा न्यूज में नहीं था. ओके, सो दिस वाज इन न्यूज इन अफ्रीका. अफ्रीका का लेक है तो बहुत कम न्यूज में था. इट वाज वन ऑफ द वेरी डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन. इंडिया का न्यूज़पेपर कवर ही नहीं किया था इसको. जो भी आंसर बता रहे तो एग्जाम में आने के बाद में ही पता गया होगा, है ना, या बाद में करंट अफेयर्स मैगजीन में कवर किया होगा. उसके पहले तो बहुत मुश्किल वाला क्वेश्चन था ये. ठीक है, सो बट गुड. लेक फैक्यूबीन इज द लेक व्हिच इज रिसेंटली ड्राइड अप. सो वो वेस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ अफ्रीका में है. सो दैट्स व्हाई इट वाज इन न्यूज. इट वाज टोटली करंट अफेयर्स बेस्ड. सो प्रीलिम्स में वी आर हैविंग दीस 4 टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. इन ज्योग्राफी यहां पर मैंने दिखाया था 2 टाइप्स ऑफ क्वेश्चंस इन ज्योग्राफी. दिस इज कॉन्सेप्चुअल टाइप, दिस इज इंफॉर्मेशन टाइप. ठीक है, पहले ऐसे वाला क्वेश्चन ज्यादा था, अभी दोनों आ रहे हैं. However, लोकेशन टाइप दोनों तो पहले से भी कंसिस्टेंट है, अभी भी आ रहे हैं. Nearly 50% of the questions are location based. In that both static type as well as current affairs type both are asked. So हम बाकी सारा छोड़ के इसी को ही ऊपर ज्यादा कॉन्सेंट्रेट कर लेते हैं. इसे कर सकते हैं क्या? बहुत मुश्किल है. Otherwise it becomes too factual. We cannot study location separately. We have to study location along with geography. जब जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी का बात करते हैं, जब माउंटेन्स का बात करते हैं, इंपॉर्टेंट माउंटेन्स तो एग्जांपल में दे ही दूंगा, तब कवर कर लेते हैं. रिवर्स भी ऐसे, लेक्स भी ऐसे. अदरवाइज इट विल जस्ट बिकम ए सिंगल लिस्ट. चाहे तो मैं लिस्ट आज ही दे दूंगा, तो याद रखना बहुत मुश्किल है कि वी कैन नॉट कवर दिस सेपरेटली. वी हैव टू कवर इट एज पार्ट ऑफ योर ज्योग्राफी. इन मेंस अगेन वी हैव 4 टाइप्स ऑफ क्वेश्चंस व्हिच वी कैन आइडेंटिफाई. फर्स्ट वन, what are the forces that influence ocean currents and describe their role in fishing industry of the world? Okay, 2022 का क्वेश्चन है. So this is a type of question which can be called as static question of basic nature. Basic मतलब ठीक है, बहुत डायरेक्ट है. So there is another static but not basic, but it is applied nature. Okay, read this question. Second type, discuss the multi-dimensional implications of uneven distribution of mineral oil in the world. ठीक है, फर्स्ट वन इज द फोर्सेस व्हिच इन्फ्लुएंस द ओशन करंट्स एंड डिस्क्राइब देयर रोल इन फिशिंग इंडस्ट्री ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. दोनों में क्या डिफरेंस है? आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द कंटेंट, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द नेचर ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. सो दिस इज पार्ट ऑफ योर ट्रेडिशनल ज्योग्राफी. यू विल फाइंड द आंसर इन एनसीईआरटी इटसेल्फ. थोड़ा बहुत डिटेल में गया तो और अच्छे से आंसर मिल जाएगा, क्लास में क्लियरली डिस्कस हो जाएगा. तो ये सब तो हमने क्लास में क्लियरली डिस्कस किया था, तो इस साल जो भी लिखा है तो उनके लिए अच्छा था. ओके, इट्स ए क्वेश्चन बेस्ड ऑन ट्रेडिशनल टॉपिक ऑफ ज्योग्राफी. एंड यहां पर ज्यादा सोचना नहीं है आपको. ओके, क्लियर सेट आंसर होगा, डायरेक्टली लिखना है. दैट इज व्हाई आई हैव सेड स्टैटिक है. स्टैटिक मतलब टोटली ट्रेडिशनल ज्योग्राफी एंड बेसिक है. यू कैन डायरेक्टली राइट इट फ्रॉम द टेक्स्ट बुक और फ्रॉम द नोट्स. हियर इट इज स्टैटिक टाइप बट अप्लाइड इन नेचर. यू वोंट गेट दिस आंसर एनीवेयर. Okay, even from the class, even I had discussed about the uneven distribution of the mineral oil. Distribution of petroleum तो discuss कर ही लेते हैं. So there we get to know that it is not uniformly distributed, it is unevenly distributed. The question is, what are the implications? Uneven distribution होने से क्या implication? ये तो सोच के लिखना है. There is no set answer for this. You will not find it in any of the textbooks. ये तो थोड़ा बहुत दिमाग लगा के, कॉमन सेंस से लगा के, एंड जो भी आपने प्रिपेयर किया 1-2 साल से, वो सारा नॉलेज लेके आके एक आंसर प्रिपेयर करना है. Then and there. That is why it is applied type. ठीक है, the topic is static but the question is applied. The third one, examine the status of forest resources of India and its resultant impact on climate change. This is both static and current affairs, because the forest resources of India we will study in detail about overall distribution कैसे है, ये सब चीजें. However, they are talking about the status of forest resources. Here you have to make use of the state of the forest report. Okay, स्टेट ऑफ द फॉरेस्ट रिपोर्ट यूज करके उसका डेटा को यहां पर कोट करना है. दैट वाज करंट अफेयर्स. ओके, विदाउट दैट द आंसर इज इनकम्प्लीट हियर. एंड आल्सो इट्स इंपैक्ट ऑन द क्लाइमेट चेंज, ये भी करंटली न्यूज में होगा. सो यू वुड हैव स्टडीड अबाउट इट. सो दोनों मिला के आपको आंसर बनाना है. दैट इज व्हाट इज स्टैटिक एंड करंट अफेयर्स टाइप. फोर्थ टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन इज टोटली करंट अफेयर्स, जो इस साल क्वेश्चन आया था. डिस्कस द मीनिंग ऑफ कलर कोडेड वेदर वार्निंग फॉर द साइक्लोन प्रोन एरियाज गिवन बाय IMD. So we would have discussed about cyclone, the overall process of formation, the structure, all of this, and you would have read about this in the current affairs. In current affairs, you would have seen the different warning methods used, and then you have to write the answer based on what you have studied in the current affairs. Content is not about the cyclone. They are not asking what is cyclone, uska formation बताओ, structure बताओ, ये सब तो नहीं लिखना है. They are directly talking about the color-coded weather warning. You have to write only about that. This is totally based on current affairs. ये तो current news में था. तो विजन का करंट अफेयर्स मैगजीन में भी कवर हुआ था. So based on that, you have to write whatever you study from current affairs. So there are 4 types of questions in mains. One is directly from textbook, static and basic. Second, topic is static but applied in nature. You have to make the answer then and there. Third one is mix of both static and current affairs total. Fourth one is current affairs total. So अगर 8 क्वेश्चन है, so you don't have to worry. ऐसे equal weightage तो नहीं होगा. सबसे ज्यादा यहाँ पर होता है. Usually at least 3 questions are from static and basic. 2 to 3 questions are static and applied. So majority of the questions in geography are static in nature. At least 6 out of 8 is static in nature. 1 or 2 questions will be there from current affairs based. So that makes geography scoring. Okay, in mains, most of the questions of geography are from static part. So थोड़ा बहुत direct आएगा, थोड़ा बहुत application oriented आएगा. 1 or 2 questions related to current affairs will also be there. So that is the nature of questions, the type of questions which are asked in geography. Yes, definitely you should add in this implications. Yes, there are many questions which are related to economics. वो भी आता है. But the core topic is geography, right? So only when we bring the other aspects, the answer becomes better. तभी वो better रहेगा. That is why it is applied in nature. ठीक है? So I guess you have enough idea about the type of questions asked. For more detailed analysis, you can go through these links. Okay, so ये तो मैंने ही cover किया है, YouTube में है, सबके लिए free है. This is on behalf of Vision IAS. We conduct these sessions, the previous paper analysis sessions. So from 2014 to 2022, all the prelims papers का जो analysis है इसमें पूरा है. I covered each and every question. Just go through that, you will get a better idea. And this is mains analysis from 2014 to 2022. 2022 तक है. ठीक है? So whenever you get time, go through this. It will be very helpful. पूरा जो previous question इसमें मैंने detailed analysis किया है, answer भी दिया है, मतलब पूरा discuss किया है. So it is going to be very helpful. Many of the times, even though the questions are not going to be repeated, the concepts are going to be repeated. ठीक है? The important part, sources. Geography के लिए क्या क्या sources cover करना है. So this is the actual situation. अभी तो ऐसे ही हो गया. तो जब हमारे time में था, so when I was preparing, there was a limitation of sources. So हम जो भी क्लास में पढ़ाया था उसी को ही स्ट्रिक्टली फॉलो किया था. So अभी ऐसे है कि you have to decide what not to study rather than what to study. ठीक है? मतलब there are so many sources, so many books, so many internet materials, soft copies, hard copies, इतना ज्यादा है तो बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. तो इसलिए I'll also tell जो बेसिक हम बहुत बेसिक मानते हैं ज्योग्राफी के लिए मस्ट. There are 4 NCERTs which I want all of you to read. ये तो पढ़ना ही है. Even though we are covering in the class, पूरा डिटेल में कवर करेंगे, फिर भी ये पढ़ना ही है आपको. You cannot skip this. ऐसा नहीं कि I am not going to cover this. I will cover this, but when you read this in the same topic, मान लो earthquake मैंने क्लास में कवर किया, वापस जाके earthquake इसमें पढ़ा तो थोड़ा बहुत और better clarity आएगा. ऐसा नहीं कि वहां पर better clarity से समझाया है. It is just something which is in a different language and in a easily understandable manner, which is always good. Okay, you need second perspective, that is from NCERT. 4 NCERTs are must. 11th standard 2 NCERTs, 12th standard 2 NCERTs. 11th standard part 1 is the fundamentals of physical geography. Okay, this is part 1. Part 2 is India physical environment. This is about the physical geography of world, physical geography of India. 12th standard fundamentals of human geography, India, people and economy. 2 part है. Fundamentals of human geography is economic and human geography of world. That is economic and human geography of India. ठीक है? 4 बुक है, ये तो करना ही है आपको. In addition to this, there is one important book. You might have heard about this. G.C. Leong. पहले येलो कलर में था, अभी ब्लैक कलर में आ गया है. So, but book same ही है, बस कवर बाहर का कवर चेंज किया. They have not revised it, and this is only about the world's geography. It is not Indian geography. Okay, so it's a very small book, but very very good. बहुत अच्छे तरीके से दिया है, ठीक है? And in that I would suggest whether you are able to read all the chapters or not, at least climatology का जो chapters है, chapter number 12, 13, 14, and then from 15 to 25. So please read this. There is no better alternative for this than G.C. Leong for climatology. टोटल ज्योग्राफी ICSE एक और सजेस्ट करता हूं मैं. दैट्स बिकॉज द ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया इज नॉट वेरी अपडेटेड इन NCERT. वी हैव टू स्टडी अबाउट इन डिटेल द एग्रीकल्चर, रिसोर्सेस, इंडस्ट्रीज, ये सारा थोड़ा बहुत डिटेल में पढ़ना है. एंड इसमें जितना दिया है वो काफी नहीं है. ओके, दैट इज द ट्रूथ. दैट इज नॉट सफिशिएंट. So for that I would say only read those topics from this total geography. Total geography is the name of the book. This is ICSE syllabus 10th standard. 9th standard का भी एक total geography that covers physical geography of the world. उसके लिए हमारे NCERT बेटर है. Okay, you can skip that. ये जो ICSE का 10th स्टैंडर्ड टोटल ज्योग्राफी है. इट कवर्स इंडियन ज्योग्राफी. इन दैट द टॉपिक्स रिलेटेड टू एग्रीकल्चर, रिसोर्सेज, इंडस्ट्री एंड ट्रांसपोर्टेशन यू कैन कवर. इट इज गिवन इन अ बेटर मैनर एंड मोस्ट अपडेटेड डेटा मिलेगा आपको इसमें. Okay, these are your basic reference. So basic reference. So reference इसलिए बोल रहा हूं कि source नहीं है. So then what is the source? Source is your class notes. The source of geography for your UPSC examination will be class notes. Class notes if you follow the class regularly. So otherwise whatever the notes which you prepare. Okay. So that's because geography is a very technical subject. It will be better if you have a proper notes from where you can read multiple times. Okay, थोड़ा बहुत multiple revision करना है तभी वो दिमाग में बैठेगा. So पहली बार मैं क्लास में एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ थोड़ा बहुत ठीक है समझ आएगा, वापस जाके एक बार देख लिया समझ भी आ जाएगा, बट दिमाग में रहता नहीं है. So you will not be able to retain everything. For that you have to read multiple times. So it's better if you maintain proper class notes. That will be your source. This is your reference books. Reference book, primary reference book, these 4 plus these 2. So one more secondary reference book usually people read is Samindra Singh, Physical Geography. You might have heard about it. So I would say it is not compulsory. If you have interest, you can read. Otherwise, it is not compulsory. I would not strictly recommend कि इसको पढ़ना ही है. But पढ़ने से तो आपका interest है तो तब हो सकता है. Otherwise, it will take some time. So if you don't have time, so don't worry about it. The topics which are to be covered in detail, those which we have to go beyond NCERT. Anyway, I'll be covering in detail in the class. Okay, जो भी चाहिए beyond NCERT मैं class में पूरा cover कर दूंगा. So you don't have to worry about that. So that is your primary reference, and the secondary reference would be Vision IS printed material. Okay, all of you have got the Vision IS printed material. So secondary reference would be Vision IS printed material. जो हमारे तरफ से जो printed material है, that's the detailed compilation of all these material NCERT जो भी होगा. So all of this will be your secondary reference material. So order क्या है बताइए? First preference, number 1 class notes, number 2 NCERTs. NCERTs are must, you cannot skip that. NCERT and then GC Leong and then total geography सारा एक ही layer में आ जाएगा. Third layer में आपको मिलेगा Vision IS printed material. Because once you read NCERT, you don't have to read it again and again. बार बार पढ़ने के लिए जरूरी नहीं है. You just keep the class notes as the basic level. उसके ऊपर just for another reference you want to refer to, you can read through Vision IS printed material. ठीक है? How many of you have completed these NCERTs? ठीक है. Good. So many of you have not completed. So this is usually it happens. So but I would suggest at least complete these along with the class. इतना तो करना ही है आपको. You have to complete these at least along with the class. I'm not suggesting start reading from here. Class के साथ साथ में करो ऐसा नहीं. Whatever the topics I cover in the class, read it parallelly from these NCERTs. So that way class भी हो जाएगा साथ में NCERT भी हो जाएगा. इसमें दो फायदा है कि क्लास में जितना कवर हुआ है आप पहले वापस जाके वो पढ़ोगे. Like you will read that first. Then read the same topic from NCERT, you will get a better clarity. If you get anything extra from NCERT, just add it here. एक ही compilation हो जाएगा, दोबारा NCERT को पढ़ने का जरूरी नहीं होगा आपको. ठीक है? So इसे एक complete comprehensive compilation भी हो जाएगा आपका notes. जितना मैं क्लास में दूंगा, it is not a very detailed note. I'm telling you now only. I'm not going to give a very detailed notes. I'll give you the dictation. के basic definitions होगा and brief points होगा. Point wise मैं बता दूंगा. बाकी सारा तो NCERT पढ़ के आपको अपने हिसाब से बनाना पड़ेगा. ठीक है? But at least I'll give you the notes because it is required. Okay, so once you complete these NCERT, then once the entire geography is over while doing the revision, you can read the Vision IS material. Or if you have already covered NCERTs, you can leave that and read the Vision IS material only. Okay. So that's about sources. And एक important part है हमारा map reading. How to do map reading? बहुत लोगों के लिए ये बड़ा मुश्किल वाला part है. So is that so? So do you feel so? ठीक है. So see, as per my observation, people who find difficulty in map reading, remembering location, are those who start with the map location itself. They start their geography with map location. कोशिश करते हैं कि पहले हम लोकेशन को याद रखते हैं, फिर कॉन्सेप्ट समझते हैं. Okay, that is a wrong approach. Please start with geography first. Understand the basic concepts. Along with that, try to remember the location. ठीक है? So सारा तो immediately याद नहीं रहेगा. It will take a long period of time before you can actually remember the locations, the important ones, and that is part of the entire preparation. Geography का जो preparation का part ही हो जाएगा. एक ही दिन में नहीं होगा. But at least when you cover the entire geography, थोड़ा बहुत आपको समझ आ जाएगा. So don't worry if you are not able to remember all the locations at a time, and don't separate it from geography. Geography से separate मत करो. It is not something the list of names which you have to mug up and remember. No, you have to associate with geography. While studying about the mountains, okay, think about the mountains wherever there is a convergent plate boundary, wherever there is folding activity, you should be able to associate. ठीक है, यहाँ पर है Himalayas, यहाँ पर है Andes, यहाँ पर है Rockies, Alps mountains है, क्योंकि there is a convergent plate boundary over there. ऐसे relate करना है, तभी वो याद रहेगा. Otherwise, you will not be able to relate it. ठीक है? So here, map तो I think all of you have already purchased wall map after coming to Delhi. खरीदा है? So that is usually one of the first things they do. So most of the civil service aspirants, तो मार्केट में तो खाना खाएंगे या नहीं, तो पहले तो यही करेंगे, विल बाई दिस मैप, है ना. तो बहुत जगह में ऐसे होता है कि लैंडलॉर्ड ही लगा के दे देता है रूम के साथ फ्री. तो पिछले वाले स्टूडेंट छोड़ के गया होगा तो साथ में फ्री आ जाएगा. ठीक है, देयर इज अ पर्पस फॉर दिस, सो प्लीज मेक यूज ऑफ इट फॉर दैट पर्पस. ठीक है, सो ट्राई टू सी दिस मैप ऑन डेली बेसिस. And not just for recollecting these places, but to develop that pictorial memory of the map. ये पूरा आपके दिमाग में बैठना चाहिए. ठीक है, that will come only if you see it on daily basis. You should be able to visualize this map. Even if you close your eyes, you should be able to visualize your map. So that is how you'll be able to write maps. आपके आंसर में भी maps होना चाहिए, India map as well as world map. That is how you'll be able to write maps, and that is how you'll be able to remember the locations also. Okay, जो locations हो गया, you should be able to imagine this in a particular place. Okay, Lake Fagubin Lake कहाँ पर है, तो यहाँ पर होना चाहिए, वेस्टर्न अफ्रीका का इस पार्ट में होना चाहिए, ऐसे दिमाग में आना चाहिए. ठीक है, for that you need that visualization, for that you need to see it on daily basis, both world map as well as India map. अगर चारों लगाने के लिए जगह नहीं है तो कौन सा लगाना ही है, कौन सा होना ही चाहिए, the physical map. Okay, physical map is important in that. So make sure there are at least some names of the oceans and seas. Okay, countries तो हम identify कर सकते हैं. After this, go with India physical map. Okay, then India political, then world political. अगर जगह बच गया तो तब ये लगा देना. ठीक है, physical map is must. If you are preparing for geography, that is must. And along with this wall map, you also have to purchase a atlas. एक atlas खरीदना है, खरीद लिया already? कौन सा खरीदा है? ऑक्सफोर्ड. ठीक है, ऑक्सफोर्ड खरीद लिया तो ठीक है. अगर अभी तक नहीं खरीदा है तो यू कैन परचेज दिस ओरिएंट ब्लैक स्वैन एटलस. ठीक है, सो वैसे आई डोंट हैव एनी टाई अप विद देम, सो आई हैव द एक्सेस टू देयर सॉफ्टवेयर. तो मैं बोर्ड पे इसी को ही दिखा पाऊंगा. लाइक आई डोंट हैव द ऑक्सफोर्ड का जो एटलस है वो मेरे पास नहीं है. सो इफ यू हैव दिस, सो इमीडिएटली वो कोरिलेट करना ईजी है, एग्जैक्टली मिल जाएगा. अगर ऑक्सफोर्ड खरीद लिया तो कोई इशू नहीं है, तो अगल बगल में देख के बैठ जाना, जिसके बगल में ऑक्सफोर्ड या ओरिएंट ब्लैक स्वैन है तो उसके साथ में बैठ जाना जब मैपिंग करेंगे हम. सो इट विल बी ईजियर टू मार्क इमीडिएटली. ठीक है, अदरवाइज बोथ आर फाइन. वंस यू मार्क, इट्स ऑल दैट यू हैव टू रिवाइज. ये इंपॉर्टेंट है बिकॉज सी द बिग वॉल मैप्स आर जस्ट फॉर विजुअलाइजेशन पर्पस. दिस इज वेयर यू आर गोइंग टू डू द मैपिंग इन डिटेल. रिविजन भी इसी से ही करोगे, उसमें सारे लोकेशंस नहीं मिलेगा आपको. यू विल नॉट फाइंड ऑल द लोकेशंस ओवर देयर. ठीक है, मेजर ही मिलेगा. I'm telling you that is just for visualization purpose. This is for map reading and revision purpose. And there are many online softwares and Google Earth, ये सब तो है, but इससे ज़्यादा आपको फायदा होगा when you have it in a book and mark it with a highlighter and read it multiple times. वो दिमाग में बैठेगा. This is going to be more useful. Carry this atlas always to the class also. हमेशा geography class में होना चाहिए. मैं कभी भी पूछ सकता हूँ. I can anytime ask. Open करो, कुछ location mark करते हैं, ऐसे तो मैं कभी भी कर सकता हूँ. Always carry this. कि कोई भी atlas ठीक है. सो मैपिंग में दो तरीके का मैंने बता दिया, दो तरीके का लोकेशन होते हैं. एक तो ट्रेडिशनल लोकेशन, दूसरा करंट अफेयर्स बेस्ड लोकेशंस. ट्रेडिशनल लोकेशंस विल कवर इट along with the class. Many of them will be covering along with the class. So whenever we cover a location while covering the type of mountains or the process of formation of rivers, ये सब तो concept explain करते करते जो example में दे दूंगा, तो immediately खोल के mark कर देना. Okay, immediately open the atlas and mark it then and there. Even if you're not able to do that, at least while you read it back on the day whenever you are doing revision, at least तब मार्क कर देना. मतलब उस दिन का जो भी इंपॉर्टेंट लोकेशन है उसी दिन मार्क कर दो, so तभी वो याद रहेगा. So that is how we will be covering the traditional locations. Other current affairs locations which you will be seeing it on daily basis whenever you read a newspaper. So you have to make a list of these current affairs location for now. So अभी के लिए इसको करना शुरू करना है. So we will also be covering in the class in a separate mapping session which we will do at the end of usually prelims के पहले करते हैं 2-3 महीने पहले करते हैं. Once we complete geography and environment दोनों जब खत्म हो जाएगा तब करेंगे हम mapping class. ठीक है. Then we will be covering some of the important current affairs locations also. But how to come to conclusion whether a particular current affairs location is important or not? Because you will see many locations on daily basis news पे तो मिलेगा ही आपको, बहुत सारा मिलता है, right? So कैसे decide करना whether this is important for geography or not? तो इसलिए जो previous papers का जो मैंने link दिया है ना, तो इसमें go through कर लेना. So I have analyzed all the map locations separately. First part map location ही है, मैंने सारा पूरा map locations को अलग सा करके analyze कर दिया, तो उसमें सारा है. So if you go through all the previous map related questions which are asked in UPSC, you will be easily able to come to conclusion whether a particular location is important or not. वो पढ़ते पढ़ते समझ आ जाएगा. ठीक है. So and overall approach for geography should be, as I told you, start with the basics, develop a conceptual clarity first. Okay, that is very very important in geography. Whoever is feeling too much of facts, too much of information, you know, they are basically not giving attention to the concept. Usually geography is associated with concepts. Try to understand the concept first, apply it in the real world, which is very important. जो भी हम क्लास में पढ़ोगे तो कोशिश करो जनरली बाहर रियल वर्ल्ड में इंप्लीमेंट करने का या देखने का या एसोसिएट करने का. ओके, सो देन इट विल मेक इट इजियर. एंड जियोग्राफी इज द मोस्ट प्रैक्टिकल सब्जेक्ट, है ना. क्लियरली आपको बाहर दिखता है, right? So we may talk about the types of clouds. You go outside, you will see different types of clouds. You can clearly see. Okay, we will talk about the overall formation of monsoon. I'll discuss about the different seasons, and when you are in that particular season, you will be able to correlate. Okay, why we don't get rainfall in winter? बारिश क्यों नहीं आएगा? It is related to the overall climatic condition of India. So clearly correlate कर सकते हैं, है ना. It is the most practical subject. Try to understand the concept and apply in the real world. Then you try to remember the information. It is very easy. But don't start with the information first. Information से शुरू नहीं करना है. Start with the concepts. To develop the conceptual clarity, you can refer to many of these YouTube videos. बहुत सारे YouTube videos है, देखो, है ना. बहुत animated तरीके से दिखाता है. So it's always good. You have to visualize that. And textbook से जितना मिलेगा there is a limitation, है ना. 2-dimensional representation में तो limitation होगा ही होगा. So when you try to see different representation, graphical representation, मैं भी क्लास में थोड़ा बहुत दिखाऊंगा, but overall ज़्यादा समझ आएगा. When you see that, try to do that. Okay, so you should not restrict yourself to only what we see in the class. बट वापस रिवीजन के टाइम में यही रेफर करना है. फॉर डेवलपिंग कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी यू रीड एनी ऑफ द रेफरेंस मटेरियल, कोई भी पढ़ो, ठीक है, बट वापस तो यहीं पे आना है आपको, ठीक है. सो विद आफ्टर दैट देन यू ट्राई टू रिमेंबर द फैक्ट्स एंड इन्फॉर्मेशन. इट इज वेरी इजी टू डू, याद भी हो जाएगा. एंड ट्राई टू प्रैक्टिस सम डायग्राम्स एंड मैप्स. मैप्स तो मैंने ऑलरेडी बोल दिया, वर्ल्ड मैप एंड इंडिया मैप दोनों इंपॉर्टेंट है. इन एडिशन टू दैट यू नीड टू प्रैक्टिस सम डायग्राम्स, फिगर्स, देन एंड देयर. Whatever the diagrams and figures which I draw on the board or show it on the board with simple, जो भी दिखा दूंगा तो उसको आपको immediately लिखना है. I know many of the students क्या करते हैं, मैं सोचते हैं कि मैं घर जाके अच्छे से लिखूंगा ऐसे बोल के जगह छोड़ देते हैं. So फिर ज्योग्राफी पूरा खत्म होने के बाद भी वो ऐसे ही जगह खाली रहता है. I have seen it myself. ठीक है, because that best figure वो दिन कभी भी नहीं आएगा. So don't go behind that. And this is geography subject, ऐसे drawing subject तो नहीं है. आपको मतलब आप पूरा अच्छे से लिखो एक ही मार्क ही मिलेगा, नॉर्मली लिखो एक ही मार्क ही मिलेगा. The point is होना चाहिए, आंसर में होना चाहिए. So immediately प्रैक्टिस कर दिया तो ज्यादा बेटर रहेगा. You will immediately be, वो खत्म हो गया, काम खत्म हो गया, दूसरा की आदत भी बन जाएगा. वापस जाके जब रिवाइज करोगे एक बार रफ पेपर में दोबारा लिख लेना whatever the figures which I am telling you. So that is very very important. वो आंसर में होना चाहिए. You'll get 1 extra mark in each of these. Every answer with extra figures and maps will be given extra mark. Each and every mark counts UPSC में, ठीक है. And some of the things which you have to associate with current affairs, that is important. Whenever you see something related to the geography in reality in current affairs, try to associate with that. So then only the geography, the entire subject is complete. ठीक है. So this is the overall approach. And yeah, notes का तो मैंने बता दिया, proper brief notes में दे दूंगा. So पूरा जो framework मैं follow करूंगा उसी को ही follow करना. That is good. And I have anyway given you the overall list of the topics which I'll be covering in the order. And before we begin a particular unit, I'll also give the subtopics of the entire unit. पूरा दे दूंगा, तो उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए आप भी पढ़ सकते हो. You can prepare ahead and come. That will be more helpful for you. अगर थोड़ा बहुत उसको पढ़ के आ गया तो और अच्छा है, right? But at least क्लास के बाद में जितना क्लास में कवर है उतना तो रिवाइज करके आ जाना before coming to the next class. That will keep you on track. It's a very simple exercise, but will be most helpful practice which you would ever do. जो उस दिन का उसी दिन कवर करना, रिवाइज करके ही सोना है, ऐसे एक प्रैक्टिस आदत बना दो. That will be really helpful for you. ठीक है. So that is brief analysis of the subject and the overall preparation method for geography. So tell me if you have any questions. Anything, any doubts? Anything you want to ask? और कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं if you want to ask anything in general. ठीक है, clear? चलो, let's take a short break, then we'll start. So this is the content list of the first unit. तो ये लिख लेना तब तक. हो गया? लिखो लिखो आराम से लिखो. अभी तो और टाइम लगेगा. चलो शुरू करते हैं. ठीक है, so, जल्दी खत्म कर देते हैं, फिर बाद में देख लेना क्लास के बाद में. So this is the first unit of geography. Here we'll be studying about the introductory part, the basics related to geography, we can say. अभी तो शुरू भी नहीं किया, अभी ताली बजा रहे हैं. So यहाँ पर हम कवर करेंगे. We start with the Earth. Okay, ये सारे चीज तो आप स्कूल में पढ़ा होगा. So you might have studied about this: rotation, revolution, seasons, time zones, international date line. So ये सारा चीजें briefly cover करेंगे. Then we'll move on to the part of the space, है ना, जो universe, origin of universe, life cycle of star, galaxies, and then the solar system. Then coming to the solar system, we'll talk about the sun, the planets, and the other satellites and the bodies, and finally eclipse. So eclipse अभी अभी हुआ है, देखा है? Lunar eclipse दिखा था? नहीं, यहाँ पर तो नहीं दिखा था. But solar eclipse was clearly visible. So did any of you observe the solar eclipse? अभी हुआ था, जो पिछले हफ्ते हुआ था. ठीक है, good. हो गया? ठीक है, चलो. So first, what is geography? ये तो लिखो. You studied about geography. So what is geography? Geography is description of Earth, right? Description of Earth. So what all are we going to describe? All the process, the landforms on the surface of Earth, and the process which created that, right? So how exactly geography originated? It is part of science, right? Geography is science. Is it science or arts? Science. So the subject of geography originated as a science of studying places, the science of studying maps, right? So trade was one of the thing which drove international relations since the beginning of the civilization. So even during the time of Indus Valley civilization, we had this trade going on between the East and West, right? And after that, during the Roman period, Greek and Roman period, so there was a good development of trade between East and West. It was going on. During that time, actually, the geography as a discipline originated, because for trade we need trade routes. For trade routes, in order to understand the trade routes, we need maps, right? For traveling purpose and even to the overall exploration purpose, we need maps. So geography it began as a subject of studying these maps, making and studying these maps. So over a period of time, it has enlarged to include everything related to the places, the description of places, and the relationship between the places and the human beings. Okay, the relationship between the human beings and its surrounding environment. All of this has become geography. So it is not just a brief description of Earth. It is much more beyond that, right? So you can write the definition. Geography is the description of Earth. Is the description of Earth. Full stop. It is the study of places. It is the study of places and relationships between people and their environment. People and their environment. So who coined the term geography? Eratosthenes. It's a Greek philosopher. That's why he is also called as the father of geography. Okay, so सबसे पहले जैसे शुरू हुआ था, at that time he is the one who developed this subject and who gave the term geography to this subject. Okay, ये भी ऐड करना. The term geography was coined by Eratosthenes. Eratosthenes, spelling है इधर. A Greek philosopher who is called as the father of geography. Okay, that is introduction. The first topic in this unit, the shape of Earth. Shape of the Earth. So what is the shape of the Earth? GI छोड़ो, generally कैसे दिखता है? So what is the shape? Spherical shape. Spherical shape. ये तो globe ऐसे है इसलिए तो बता रहे. So but do you see spherical shape outside? बाहर जाके देखा तो कैसे लगेगा? It's flat. So people used to think that it is flat. ये अलग बात है कि बहुत लोग अभी भी सोचते हैं. Many people still think that. So many people still think that we never went to moon. है ना, ऐसे बहुत सारे कहानियां तो है ही. So earlier people used to think that Earth was totally flat because it was not visible from outside, the exact shape, because we live on the surface of Earth and Earth is very very big in size, बहुत बड़ा size का है. So इसलिए वो spherical shape पता नहीं चलता. We'll not be able to realize the spherical shape of Earth. So direct evidence क्या है? What is the direct evidence of spherical shape of Earth? If you take a satellite imagery, okay, you go into the space and try to see the shape of Earth, it is visible. That is the direct evidence. वो direct evidence तो बहुत late आया. Until we develop the technology of satellite rocket, है ना, बाहर जाके देखने तक तो बहुत लेट था. तो उसके पहले बहुत पहले ही हमें पता चल गया था कि Earth is spherical in shape. So long before we had the direct images, the satellite images of Earth, so we had various different evidences to prove that Earth was spherical in shape, not flat. It was not completely flat. It was not completely as a rectangle, square, ऐसे कोई भी shape नहीं है. It is a spherical body. बाद में पता चला इसका भी मतलब perfect sphere नहीं है, वो अलग बात है. We'll come to that. That is what is called as geoid. But overall, Earth is not completely flat. It is spherical. So what are the evidences to prove that? Before we actually got the satellite imagery, the pictures, so what evidences made us to like realize that Earth is spherical in shape? Okay, what are the evidences? One by one. Okay. Circumnavigation. ठीक है, good. Circumnavigation of Earth. Circumnavigation से कैसे पता चलेगा? Yes. Only on a spherical body you can complete the circulation and come back to the origin point. कि पूरा घुमा के वापस एक ही जगह में आना है तो it's possible only in a spherical body, not in any other shape, right? So that was first done by Magellan. Magellan was the first person to do circumnavigation of Earth. ठीक है, ये हो गया. और different timing of sunrise and sunset, इससे कैसे पता चलेगा? अगर फ्लैट है तो कैसे नहीं होगा? Circumnavigation तो clear है, right? Circumnavigation is possible only on a spherical body. Otherwise, it's not possible. वो तो simple है basic. Magellan was the first person to do circumnavigation of the Earth, and that was in 1519. ठीक है. Second evidence, major evidence is that different timing of sunrise and sunset. So you might have heard about this. अगर इंडिया में 10 बजे सुबह 10 बजे तो यूएसए में रात में 10 बजे होता है, right? It is night in another country. It is afternoon in another country. Evening in another country. It varies from one place to another, right? So that is possible only on a spherical body. If the entire surface was totally flat, the sun rays fall at the same time, almost in all the places. Not only the time, even at the same, almost in the same manner. जब sunrise होगा तो horizon से ऊपर आएगा, surface से ऊपर आएगा. Every place will receive the sunlight. When sun sets, every place will be under darkness. In case of horizontal surface, पूरा flat है तो. So, but since it is spherical in shape, since the Earth is spherical in shape, the sun rays falls at different angles in different places. Where it is falling vertically, that is what we call it as noon. Afternoon, the sun's position is exactly overhead. So when it is just across the horizon, the horizon is the surface जहाँ से the surface and the sky appears to be meeting. And if you see from here, if you stand from here and try to see, the sun is exactly near to the horizon, and after some time it goes below the horizon. That is what we call it as the sunset. Here it is sunset. Here it is midday noon. What about here? If you are trying to stand here and see, the sun is rising above the horizon. This is sunrise. Can you see the timing of sunrise and sunset is not uniform over the surface? That is possible only on a spherical body. Flat है तो नहीं, possible नहीं. ठीक है? This second evidence. और आप रुकिए और बताइए, दूसरे लोग बताइए. और कोई नहीं बता रहे तो I'll give you chance. The ship's visibility. Ship's visibility. So if any of you have visited the coastal region, or if any of you have been on a ship or a boat into the deeper part of the sea, so to अगर ऐसे मान लो कोई गए हो ऐसे? Any of you have been on a ship cruise? Any of you? No? No. ठीक है. So it is more clearly visible in the ships than on the surface. That's why. So if you go into the open ocean water or open seas, to such a far extent that की like you don't see land at all, पूरा के पूरा पानी से covered है मान लो. So अगर दूर से कोई ship आ रहा है, if a ship is approaching towards you, so how they approach, how they start to become visible, that is also evidence that Earth is spherical in shape. If the entire area is totally flat, if at all the ship becomes visible, it becomes visible completely. पूरा के पूरा visible होगा, अगर दिख रहा है तो पूरा के पूरा दिखेगा. If the same ship is coming on a curved surface, the entire ship will not be visible at a time. Okay, on a curved surface, if the ship is coming towards you, gradually it rises and it appears as if it is rising from the water. It appears like it is rising from the water. Okay, like this, you can see. If it is totally flat, from any distance it looks, suppose if you are trying to observe from here, okay, मान लो यहाँ से observe करने की कोशिश करें तो कोई भी distance से देखो पूरा के पूरा दिखेगा. After some time you will not be able to see directly, but कुछ लगा दो binocular लगा दो दूर से तो दिखेगा, पूरा के पूरा दिखेगा. But in this case, on a curved surface, if you are trying to observe the ship which is just coming from this side, you will not see the entire ship, only the topmost part will be visible. After some time, like this, कि सबसे मान लो ship का ही draw कर लेते चलो. ठीक है, ऐसे मान लो ship है. The first thing which you see in any ship is the flag. You'll just see the flag. After some time, you will see the entire flag pole along with the flag. After some time, these जो ship के deck के ऊपर होते हैं structures, के office वगैरह जो भी होगा वो दिखेगा. Then the containers, then the railing, then the entire ship. The entire ship will not be visible at a time. It appears as if it is rising from the water. It is not rising from the water, but it is coming on a curved surface. That is why it appears to be rising from the water. So this kind of visibility is possible only on a spherical surface. अगर totally flat है तो पूरा के पूरा दिख जाएगा, एक ही बार में दिख जाएगा. Whenever it is visible, it will be visible all at a time. This kind of visibility is possible on a spherical body only. इसी को एक और experiment करके भी वो confirm किया है. It's called as Bedford level experiment. Another experiment confirmed this. So what they did, they took 3 poles of equal length. Okay, 3 poles लिया equal length, मान लो 100 meters का poles है. And all the 3 were installed at equal distance. मान लो 5 kilometer distance में install किया on a total flat plane. On a total flat plane they installed this and they try to observe this from a distance. Okay, using a binocular or a telescope or something, they try to observe this. If it was on a totally flat plane and their length is same, 100 meters का ये 3, just imagine 100 meters, ऐसे 100 meters नहीं था. So just imagine it is 100 meters and installed at a distance of 5 kilometer each. If you try to observe this from a long distance, all the 3 should be of the same height. तीनों का top एक ही height में दिखना चाहिए. But this is never the case. It is always the middle one which appears to be taller than the other 2. Even though the surface is totally flat, there is no elevation difference between them. It is totally flat, but still the middle one appears to be taller. Length तो same ही है. That is because the entire surface itself is curved. It is a spherical body, right? Center one always appears to be taller if you view from a distance. So that is what we call as Bedford level experiment. Same ship's visibility का जो concept था उसी को ही यहाँ पर confirm किया है. ठीक है? The center one always appears to be taller than the other 2, even though both are of, all the 3 are of same height. Anything else? Eclipse. How eclipse is it? Evidence of spherical body. Eclipse में क्या होता है? The shadow of one body falls on another body. Specifically, we were talking about lunar eclipse. In case of lunar eclipse, we have sun, earth, and moon. This is the position, right? Detail में बात करेंगे end में कैसे होगा ये सब. So during this, the sun's light will fall on the earth, which is blocking the moon. So what is happening? The shadow of Earth falls on the moon. Shadow of Earth falls on the moon. And during that process of covering this, you will see the curvature. ऐसा नहीं कि एक ही बार में पूरा ब्लॉक हो जाएगा, ग्रेजुअल ऐसे कवर होता है ना. There you can see the curvature of Earth. Curvature है तो spherical body है. अगर ऐसा नहीं है कि पूरा फ्लैट है तो, if this is the moon, you will see something like this. ऐसा इमेज दिखेगा, ऐसा दिखता है कहीं पे, right? You'll see a curvature, proper curvature. कभी कभी पूरा कवर होगा, कभी कभी आधा कवर होगा. That is eclipse. Anything else? Huh? So that is what we call it as horizon. So presence of horizon is not a proof. Horizon तो even in normal flat surface है तो भी horizon दिखेगा आपको. दूर से देखा तो horizon दिखेगा. But which kind of horizon? That is important here. What we see is a circular horizon. What is horizon? The place where the land appears to be meeting the sky. जो boundary जो दिखता है, that is what is horizon, right? And if you see the shape of this horizon from any place, on a spherical body, horizon is always circle. Okay, what exactly is horizon? Okay, if you are a person who is standing on this, okay, मान लो ऐसे है, like your position is on a spherical body. If you are standing on this, the area covered by your viewing angle, है ना? So that is what is horizon. The line where it appears that the surface is ending. And if you see the horizon, if any of you have seen the horizon, है ना, बहुत दूर दूर तक, दिल्ली में तो दिखेगा नहीं horizon, वैसे we are totally covered with buildings. So you have to go to a tall building, बहुत ज़्यादा ऊपर लंबा वाला apartment जाना पड़ेगा. Or the best place is again sea. Get into a ship, travel away from the coast, sufficiently far distance, कि you are totally covered with water, and you take a 360 degrees of rotation. If you take a 360 degrees of rotation, you won't see any edge, a point where horizon ends. ऐसे दिखता है. It is continuously complete, मतलब completely ऐसे continuous रहता है. There is no single location where ठीक है यहाँ तक जाएगा, ऐसे फिर turn लेगा, फिर ऐसे turn लेगा, ऐसे तो नहीं दिखेगा ना. It is always circle. That circular horizon is possible only on a spherical body. ठीक है? And इसका एक और है. If at all you are watching the horizon on a spherical body and you increase the altitude at which you are watching this, किस हाइट पे देख रहे हो उसको इंक्रीज करो, the area covered by the horizon would also increase. देखो, if you are trying to observe the horizon from this point, this is the horizon which you see. ऐसे एक सर्कल बनेगा. If you observe from this point और ऊपर जाके ऑब्जर्व करने की कोशिश किया तो the horizon becomes bigger. The area covered by the horizon increases. That is possible only on a spherical body. You want to see how it works? चलो दिल्ली आता है, पोल्यूशन तो बहुत ज्यादा है. ठीक है. कहाँ गया हमारा इंडिया गेट? कहाँ गया? अच्छा, मैंने रोड हटा दिया इसलिए ठीक से नहीं दिखा. चलो ठीक है, कोई भी जगह ले लो. चलो मान लो इस जगह से हम देख रहे हैं. ओके. So Google Earth तो आपने देखा होगा. You might have seen Google Earth. Google Map is different. Google Earth is different. So Google Map में आपको पूरा plain view दिखता है. Google Earth is 3-dimensional view. So you can install on your mobile also. Okay. So let's keep the altitude at 969 meters. यहाँ पर देखो altitude दिख रहा है. So we are trying to view this. So if you want to see the horizon, this is the horizon, right? Where the land and sky appears to be meeting. Let me show the shape of the horizon first. Okay, let me take a complete 360 degrees of rotation. Do you see any particular point where the horizon is ending? That is what is circular horizon. ठीक है? It's a circular horizon, you can see clearly. ठीक है? तो ऐसे करते हैं अभी. Altitude को increase करते हैं. चलो अभी 1 किलोमीटर था, उसको 2 किलोमीटर पे लेके आता है. 2.5 किलोमीटर. ठीक है? Now you try to see the horizon. और दूर तक दिख रहे, देखो हिमालयस भी दिख रहे हैं. देखो, the area covered by the horizon has increased, right? और ऊपर लेके आ जाओ. 7 किलोमीटर. Okay, now you see the horizon. और बड़ा सा दिख रहा है. The area covered by the horizon has increased, right? इसका बेस्ट प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल आपको दिखेगा if you are traveling by flight. So if you are traveling from Delhi to Lucknow to Patna मान लो. So from Lucknow do you see Himalayas? लखनऊ से हिमालयस दिखता है? नहीं दिखता है. सरफेस के ऊपर से तो नहीं दिखता है. But if you are flying from Delhi to Patna, if you are on Lucknow, you will see Himalayas. Himalayas clearly दिखता है. Great Himalayas दिखता है. On your left side, if you watch carefully, you will clearly see. Okay, सरफेस के ऊपर से जितना हमारा horizon है, उससे बड़ा सा horizon दिखता है. If you are at a higher altitude, that is a proof that with increase in altitude, the overall horizon widens, and that is possible only on a spherical body. Only on a spherical body it is possible. अगर flat surface है तो कितना भी कोई भी altitude से देखो वो उतना ही दिखता है. ठीक है? So these are the various different evidences to prove that Earth is spherical in shape. So that is how we got to know that even before the actual images of satellite images of Earth was confirmed the spherical shape of Earth. So we got to know that the Earth is spherical in shape. इसके ऊपर prelims वाला question आ सकता है. So mains का तो doubtful है. Okay, so what are the different evidences? ऐसे question आके which of the following confirm the spherical shape of Earth? They will give you 3-4 and you just have to say yes or no. Okay, so option select करना है उसके हिसाब से. Okay, so write this evidences for spherical shape of Earth. Evidences for spherical shape of Earth. First one, circumnavigation of the Earth. Circumnavigation of the Earth. First done by Magellan. First done by Magellan in 1519. Magellan in 1519. 1519. 1519. Second one, circular horizon. Circular horizon. The horizon appears circular. Horizon appear circular when viewed from a ship. Stop. Horizon widens with increase in altitude. Horizon widens with increase in altitude. Third, ship's visibility. Ship's visibility. A ship appeared to be rising from water in the ocean. Stop. Bedford level experiment. उसी में लिखो. दोनों सेम ही पॉइंट को प्रूव करते हैं. Bedford level experiment also proves the same. Bedford level experiment also proves the same. Next, different timing of sunrise and sunset. Different timing of sunrise and sunset at different locations. At different locations on the earth. Different locations on the earth. Next, lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse, during which the circular shadow of the earth, is visible. Then एक और है, the spherical shape of other planetary bodies. The spherical shape of other planetary bodies. So इसका मतलब क्या है? If the bodies of the other planetary bodies of the solar system are spherical in shape, Earth should also be spherical in shape. Simple fact hai. So Earth is part of the solar system, right? So we have this concept of Navagrah since a long period of time. बहुत पहले से पता था. We have observed all these planets, Sun, Moon, है ना, Guru, Shukra, Buddha. We have seen all of these, not only in India. बहुत जगह में देखा है, पहले से observe किया है. All of these are spherical in shape. अगर ये सब तो spherical है, तो Earth भी spherical होना चाहिए, right? So why would Earth be different? So that also is a proof that Earth is a spherical body. So ठीक है, बहुत पहले से लोग फ्लैट समझते थे, so फिर स्पेरिकल पे आ गए. So when all of us accepted that it was spherical in shape, ठीक है, ये सारा एविडेंस तो मान लिया जाएगा, ये सब तो हो गया. So then comes another guy who says Earth is not completely spherical. बोलते परफेक्ट स्फीयर तो नहीं है. So basically he says that even though Earth appears to be completely spherical, it is not perfectly spherical. Because if you measure the diameter of Earth from one end to another, it is not uniform everywhere. A perfectly spherical body has a uniform diameter. कोई भी डायरेक्शन से मेजर करो, डायमीटर तो सेम ही होना चाहिए. That is what is perfect sphere, right? That is not the case with respect to Earth. If you measure the diameter from pole to pole, that is from North Pole to South Pole, the diameter is 12,714 kilometers. If you measure the diameter from equator to equator, one end of the equator to another end, the diameter is 12,756 kilometers. So there is a difference of 42 kilometers. So that means it is slightly bulged along the equator. It is slightly bulged along the equator and flattened near to the poles. ठीक है? So कैसे? Just for our representation, थोड़ा सा exaggerate करके लिखना है तो ऐसे होगा. इक्वेटर के पास में थोड़ा सा bulged है, poles के पास में थोड़ा सा flattened है. So of course this is the exaggerated version just for our understanding, क्योंकि इतना ज़्यादा तो bulging नहीं होता है. Okay, so along the equator it is slightly bulged, along the poles it is slightly flattened. So that is what we call it as the geoid. So what do you mean by geoid? Geoid का मतलब क्या है? It is the shape of Earth. Geoid means the shape of Earth. That means the Earth is not a perfect spheroid. Spherical shaped body को spheroid बोलते हैं. It is not perfectly a spheroid. It has its own shape, which is slightly bulged along the equator and flattened near to the poles. That shape is called as geoid. It is also called as oblate spheroid. ऐसे जो flattened bodies को बोलते हैं oblate spheroid. So other than Earth, are there any other bodies which are flattened like this? All the planetary bodies. All the planetary bodies which are rotating are flattened like this because it is the result of rotation. ये फ्लैटनिंग इसलिए हुआ है कि अर्थ इज कंटिन्यूअसली रोटेटिंग बॉडी, इतना तेज घूमता है कि थोड़ा बहुत ऐसे मास ऐसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाता है. बिकॉज सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स की वजह से मास ऐसे ऊपर से स्प्रेड आउट होता है ना नियर टू द पोल्स. इट इज ड्यू टू द रोटेशन. हु सेड दिस? Newton. Newton is the first person to say this. Earth is flattened near to the poles and bulged near to the equator. And he also said not only Earth, it is applicable for every other planetary body. सारा जो भी rotating bodies है उसका यही कंडीशन है. So none of the planets are perfect spherical bodies. So that is what we call as geoid or oblate spheroid. So write about this. ओके, सब हेडिंग ओवरऑल टॉपिक शेप ऑफ द अर्थ वही है, उसका सब हेडिंग है जियोइड. The earth is flattened. The earth is flattened near to poles and bulged at equator. And bulged at equator. Therefore, it is not. Therefore, it is not a perfect sphere. This shape of the earth is called as geoid or oblate spheroid. Geoid or oblate spheroid. Next paragraph. Newton proposed this for the first time. Newton proposed this for the first time, that it is due to the rotation of earth. It is due to the rotation of the earth. And he also said that the same applies to other planets. He also said that the same applies to other planets. Okay, that is shape of the earth, geoid and oblate spheroid. So next topic, latitudes and longitudes. Latitudes and longitudes. So let's say I give you a piece of paper. Okay, मान लो this is the piece of paper. And I put a point here. And I ask you to identify this point. How would you identify? You say this point is located towards the northeast corner. Right? Exactly pinpoint कर सकते हो? बहुत मुश्किल है. So what is northeast to you is different for someone else. है ना? So it varies from one person to another the way you see this point कहाँ पर located है. So rather than that, I put it on a graph. And make it part of the coordinate system. So which you might have studied in the school. School में क्या होगा graph? याद है? X-axis, Y-axis. Okay, so let's say this is the X-axis and this is the Y-axis starting from 0. This is X-axis 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now if I ask you to identify this point, you can clearly see this is 6, 12. Right? For all of you, 6, 12 is the same point. If at all earlier I was saying northeast corner mein, so all of you would have identified different points over there. Right? So this is what is coordinate system. Using coordinates, you can clearly pinpoint any particular location. Right? So x-axis, y-axis का जो भी वो overall हमारा graph बन रहा था. So all of this is coordinate system, x-axis and y-axis. If I'm trying to locate the same point on a flat piece of paper, we use x-axis and y-axis. If I try to locate the same point on a spherical body like Earth, we use latitudes and longitudes. Okay, on a spherical body like Earth, we use latitudes and longitudes. So what is the difference between x-axis, y-axis, latitudes and longitudes? So ऐसे लगता है दोनों सेम ही है, but बहुत different है. So here we have horizontal line, vertical lines. यहाँ पर भी ऐसा ही लगता है. There are horizontal lines and vertical lines. Horizontal lines are latitudes, vertical lines are longitudes. Technically गलत है. The horizontal lines are called as the parallels. The vertical lines are called as the meridians. Then what is latitude and longitude? Latitude and longitude is basically angle. So overall, the thing is, on a flat piece of paper, it is very easy to identify. On a spherical body like this, it is very difficult to draw such kind of horizontal and vertical lines. Because you cannot draw a straight line on a spherical body. You try to draw a straight line, it becomes a curved line. है ना, हमेशा कर्व हो जाता है. You can never draw a straight line on a spherical body. It is always a curve. Fine? तो इसलिए हमने ऐसे मेथड डिवाइस कर दिया. ठीक है, कुछ ऐसे पूरा कंप्लीट सर्कल बना दिया, कुछ आधा हाफ सर्कल्स बना दिया. ओवरऑल सिस्टम ऐसा है कि लाइक इट अपीयर्स लाइक हॉरिजॉन्टल एंड वर्टिकल लाइंस, एंड वी कैन identify any location on the surface of earth uniformly, so there is no variation as such. एक यूनिफॉर्म सिस्टम ऐसे बना दिया, that is what is latitudes and longitudes. ठीक है, the horizontal lines are called as the parallels of latitudes, the vertical lines are called as meridians of longitudes. ऐसे assume कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, horizontal and vertical lines ही है, क्योंकि when you put it on a map it becomes a flat piece of paper. There you can show it as a horizontal lines and vertical lines only, but if you put it on actual globe it becomes circles, circles and semicircles, semicircles. ठीक है, so let me tell you. The first one is latitude. Okay, पहले latitude के बारे में बात करते हैं. What exactly is a latitude? So this is the representation of Earth, which we call as globe. Let's say you want to measure latitude of any particular place. जैसे हम पेपर में x axis and y axis measure किया था ना, तो recognize किया था this is 1 2 3 4. So ऐसे हम यहाँ पर Earth के ऊपर भी हम let's say we want to measure the latitude and longitude of any particular place. Okay, let's take one particular point. ये वाला point ले लेते हैं. Okay, so where is this point located on the map? तो कहाँ पर दिख रहा है? Which country it is? Egypt. Good. So it's on near to Egypt. देखो ये अफ्रीका है, अफ्रीका कॉर्नर में इजिप्ट है. So if you want to measure the latitude of this particular place, how do we do this? Imagine a line connecting this point and the center of Earth. Okay, imagine a line connecting this point and the center of Earth, and then center of Earth and the equator. Okay, so another line from center of the Earth and equator, and then center of Earth and this point जहां से हमें latitude measure करना है. Now the angle made by these two lines is the latitude of this particular point. These two lines here makes an angle of 30 degrees. That is why this is called as 30 degrees. So latitude of any particular place is the angular distance of a place with respect to equator and the center of Earth. That is what is latitude of that particular place. That is how the latitude is defined. Latitude is the angular distance, that is angle made by this place with respect to center of the Earth and equator. That is the latitude of this place. Here it is making an angle of 30 degrees. That is why it is called as 30 degree latitude. Suppose you want to measure here, it becomes 15 degrees latitude. Here 60 degree latitude, 75 degree latitude, 90 degree latitude. Can you see this? Here it is making 90 degrees with respect to the equator. What about the point on the equator itself? 0 degree latitude. That is why equator is called as 0 degree latitude. What is equator then? If you keep the globe completely horizontal, अच्छा, पूरा ऐसे सीधा रखो, नॉर्थ पोल साउथ पोल के हिसाब से. The largest diameter which you find here is the equator. Okay, horizontal direction में जो सबसे largest है, that is the equator. So you always measure the latitudes with respect to equator. ठीक है, so with respect to equator it is 0 degree. As you move away from equator the latitude increases. Here from equator 0 degree it is 15 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, 75 degree and then 90 degree. It is increasing towards the north pole as well as towards the south pole. From here 15 degree, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90. To differentiate the northern and southern hemispheres, we also add that letter along with the latitude. It is called as 15 degree north latitude, 15 degree south latitude, 45 degree north latitude, 45 degree south latitude, 90 degree north, 90 degree south. So that is what is basically latitude of any particular place. So latitude of any particular place is the angle made by this particular place with respect to center of the earth and then the equator. What about these places beyond this 90 degree? अगर यहाँ पर आ गया तो ये तो 120 degrees angle make करता है ना, it makes an angle of 120 degree. So do we call it as 120 degree? Why? Because equator is a complete circle. Equator तो ऐसे half circle तो नहीं है ना, इसी डायरेक्शन में क्यों मेजर करना है, इस तरफ से भी मेजर करो, ये भी तो equator है. You can measure this from this side, this is 60 degrees. Since the equator is a complete circle, you can measure the distance from here or from here also. Okay, angle कोई भी डायरेक्शन से मेजर कर सकते हो. Either this is 60 degrees or this is also 60 degrees. Right? So that's why from 0 degree it goes up to maximum of 90. Then again it comes back to 0 degrees. The maximum latitude is 90. From 0 to 90 degree north and then 0 to 90 degree south. The latitude increases towards both north pole as well as south pole. So यहाँ का latitude क्या था? 30 degrees था. What about here? वहां पर कौन सी कंट्री है? ईरान है. ठीक है? Here it is 30 degree. यहां पर वेस्टर्न अफ्रीका का इस पार्ट में ये भी तो 30 डिग्री है. देखो इसमें दिखा देता हूं, समझ आएगा. देखो, this is Egypt. So if you're measuring the latitude from here, this is 30 degrees. You want to measure here, यहां से भी 30 degrees angle ही है. Here also it is 30 degrees only. Here also it is 30 degrees only. With respect to the equator and the center of earth, it always makes an angle of 30 degree. So it's not only a single place which is making an angle of 30 degrees. All these places located here are making an angle of 30 degrees only. So if you join all these places with a line, that is what we call it as the parallel of latitude. The line connecting places with equal latitude is called as the parallel of latitude. Okay, it's basically line. But line on a spherical body becomes circle. Okay, पूरा complete कर दो circle हो जाएगा, अदर पे तो curve हो जाएगा, right? If you draw a line on a spherical body from one end to another, it becomes a circle. So parallel of latitude is basically a circle, like this. These are the parallels of latitudes. Any place located on that particular line is of same latitude. First of all, why it is called as parallel? Because all these lines are parallel with each other. They are not only parallel with each other, they are also parallel with the equator. Equator के साथ में भी parallel रहेगा, and they are always parallel to one another. So all those lines which we can draw connecting the places with equal latitudes result in the formation of parallels of latitude. This is 0 degree parallel. This is 15 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 50, 75, 90 towards the north. Then 0 to 90 towards the south. Okay, these are called as the parallels of latitudes. Parallels of latitudes बोलते हैं इसको. Which one is the biggest parallel of latitude? Equator. Smallest is 90 degree north and south. है ना? So even though it is a single dot, it is considered as a latitude only. Parallel of latitude only. So that is what is latitudes. So longitude भी बताएं तो I'll give you brief dictation in the next class. So if this is latitude, vertical lines को meridians बोलते हैं. They basically measure the longitude. So खाली x-axis से तो हम identify नहीं कर पाएंगे ना. On a particular parallel of latitude, all the places are of the same latitude. Latitude तो same ही रहता है. We need another vertical line to differentiate from one place to another place on the same latitude. These vertical lines are drawn by longitudes, connecting longitudes. First of all, what is a longitude? So let's say you want to measure the longitude of any particular place. Here we will try to imagine the same thing. Line connecting this place and the center of earth and another standard line. In the case of latitude, we have only one standard line, that is equator, which is naturally the biggest circle. Right? Naturally the biggest circle is, there is only one, that is equator. But longitude के case में ऐसे तो नहीं होगा. Because we have imagined these lines, the meridians, to be running from north pole to south pole continuously. All of them merge towards the north pole, come out, and all of them merge towards the south pole. देखो, these vertical lines are all merging from north pole to south pole. So all of them are of equal length only. So we don't have a natural standard reference here. So that's why we have taken one line as the standard reference. That is the line passing through Greenwich near to London. Not exactly on the London. London से थोड़ा सा दूर है. So it is near to London. That is what is called as the Greenwich meridian. Greenwich meridian. So why Greenwich? There is a Royal Astronomical Observatory. Okay, Royal Astronomical Observatory बहुत पुराना है, पुराना बॉडी है, तो इसलिए वहां पर रख दिया हमने. So this line is taken as a standard reference. Now in comparison to this line, what is the angle made by this particular place? That is the longitude of this particular place. From this line, ये देखो, ये जो Greenwich meridian का line है ना, it is also called as prime meridian. It's called as prime meridian, right? And in comparison to this line, what is the angle made by this particular place? That is the longitude of this particular place. Here it makes an angle of 30 degree. That is why this is called as 30 degree longitude. Here 15 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degree, 75 degree, and then 90 degrees, right? This is from prime meridian towards the east. You can go towards the west also. You want to measure, here it is 15 degrees, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, 75 degree, and then 90 degrees. You can also count towards west or east. There it is north or south of equator. Here it is east or west of prime meridian. Prime meridian का east और west होगा. So यहाँ तक तो 90 आ गया, यहाँ तक भी 90 आ गया. तो इस तरफ क्यों हमने 105, 120 ले रहे हैं? Why we are taking it so? Because prime meridian is a semicircle. It is not a complete circle like equator. Equator कोई भी direction से measure करो same ही है. But prime meridian is only this one. कि यहां पर जो है वही प्राइम मेरिडियन, उस तरफ से जो है वो प्राइम मेरिडियन नहीं है. Because all these lines are semicircles only, right? So moving from here, 90, 105, 120, 135, 150, 165, and then 180. The opposite line is called as 180 degrees. You can say either east or west, दोनों same ही है. This is 180 from east, 180 from east. That is why we say 180 degree east or west. So you can measure from 0 to 180 degree towards the west, as well as 0 to 180 degree towards the east. You can measure these angles. These angles are called as the longitudes. Now, so this was 30 degrees. This is almost near to Kenya. ठीक है? और थोड़ा सा नीचे यहाँ पर आ जाओ. यहाँ पर कौन सा है? साउथ अफ्रीका है. ये भी 30 डिग्रीज है. यहाँ पर जिम्बाब्वे, ये भी 30 डिग्रीज है. और ऊपर आ जाओ. यहाँ पर है सूडान, ये भी 30 डिग्रीज है. इजिप्ट भी 30 डिग्रीज है. यहाँ पर तो ईस्टर्न यूरोपियन कंट्रीज है. ये सारा 30 डिग्रीज है. यू कनेक्ट ऑल दीज प्लेसेस विद इक्वल लॉन्गिट्यूड, यू गेट अ लाइन दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द मेरिडियन ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर लॉन्गिट्यूड. हियर इट इज 30 डिग्री मेरिडियन. इसको बोलते हैं 30 डिग्री मेरिडियन. सो दैट इज व्हाई दिस इज कॉल्ड एज द 0 डिग्री मेरिडियन, व्हिच इज कॉल्ड एज द प्राइम मेरिडियन. मेरिडियन refers to the semicircles. This is prime meridian. The standard reference meridian is prime meridian. From 0 15 degree meridian, 30 degree, 45, 60, 70, 90 degree meridian भी मिलेगा, 180 degree meridian भी मिलेगा आपको. All the semicircle lines are called as meridians. So what are the differences between the parallels of latitudes and meridians of longitudes? The parallels are all complete circles, meridians are semicircles. ठीक है. All the parallels are always parallel to each other. Meridians are not parallel to each other, right? If two lines are converging, they are not parallel, right? All these meridians are converging towards the North Pole as well as South Pole. They are not parallel to each other. Then the length of parallels decrease from equator towards the pole. The longest one is equator, the shortest one is pole. However, all the meridians are of same length. इनका length same ही रहेगा, right? Fine. So basically that is what is latitude and longitudes. So you bring both of them together, you can identify exactly any location. कोई भी location को हम पकड़ सकते हैं. Fine. So that is what is our x-axis, y-axis counterpart. You may ask, meridians को क्यों semicircle बनाया? अगर पूरा circle बना दिया तो क्या होगा? सोचो एक बार. Latitudes को भी पूरा circle है, meridians भी पूरा circle बना दिया. Yes, 4 poles हो सकते हैं. और मान लो ऐसे वाला जो सर्कल है उसी को ही इस तरफ से भी ज्वाइन कर दिया. ये भी 0 डिग्री, ये भी 0 डिग्री, तब क्या होगा? इस साइड में जो मेरिडियन है वो दोबारा इस साइड भी रिपीट हो जाएगा. right? And time changes in this direction, right? So बहुत सारा confusing है. And इसको क्यों पोल टू पोल किया है, ऐसे भी क्यों नहीं कर सकते? इक्वेटर मतलब जो लैटिट्यूड्स का जो किया है ना, ऐसे भी इसको भी ऐसे क्यों नहीं कर सकते? In that case, they will not converge at equidistance. The lines should converge at equidistance. जैसे ग्राफ के ऊपर ऐसे बनता है, ऐसे ही होना चाहिए. Okay, the distance between them, between two meridians, should be equal along the entire latitude. That is possible only in this model. इसलिए लैटिट्यूड्स को पूरा सर्कल बनाना है, लॉन्गिट्यूड्स को सेमी सर्कल बनाना है. ठीक है? So तब भी वो ऐसे एग्जैक्टली बैठेगा. जो हमारा कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम है वो ऐसे एग्जैक्टली बैठेगा तब. So now this same coordinate system is used for navigation. Okay, so GPS हम जो यूज करते हैं Google Earth, that uses the same system. So what exactly they give? They give the latitude and longitude of any particular place. Any place on the surface of Earth has a unique latitude and longitude. कैसे? ये जो हमने डिवाइड करके दिया है, ये किया है हमें डिग्रीज के हिसाब से. We have divided from 0 to 90 degree north, 0 to 90 degree south. But each degree is divided into much smaller units. 1 degree is divided into much smaller units called as minute. Minute. इसको minute बोलते हैं. Not the time का जो unit है वो minute नहीं है. This is the unit of angle. Each degree is divided into 60 minutes, and each minute is divided into 60 seconds. So any place on the surface of Earth has a very unique latitude and longitude. Any place छोड़ो, within the same city. Okay, just for your example, the Vision Eyes Center located here in GMMR building has a unique latitude of its own than the Vision Eyes Center located in IAPL building. दोनों का अलग अलग है. If you divide the entire place into degrees into minutes, minutes into second, you can clear cut, मतलब clearly हम identify कर. That is how the Google Maps works. ठीक है? By tracking these exact locations को पकड़ना है. So using this, we can locate any point on the surface of Earth. Is that clear? So any doubts here? ठीक है? चलो, I'll dictate about this in the next class. In the next class, I'll be covering rotation, revolution, and seasons. Rotation, revolution, seasons के बारे में बात करते हैं. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.